A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Hello, my friends, the Heinz Honey and Almond Cream Program. Starring George Burns and Gracie Allen with Frank Parker, Ray Noble and his orchestra, and Truman Bradley speaking. And now for those two friendly hands, George Burns and Heinz Honey, Gracie Allen.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hello, Gracie. Coming down to the studio tonight, I saw a big banner saying vote for Gracie.
Yeah, I know.
All over town, I see billboards saying put Gracie in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the newsreels. It's in the papers. Signs right here on the stage saying send Gracie to Washington. What does this mean?
Well, George, I'll let you in on a secret. I'm running for president.
You're running for president?
Yes.
Gracie, how long has this been going on?
Well, for 150 years. George Washington started it.
Gracie, why are you running for president?
Well, because that's the only way you can get to the White House. You can't just walk in and sit down.
The idea is preposterous.
And not only that, but it pays good money.
Look, you don't stand a chance. Presidents are born.
Well, what do you think I was, hatched?
There's nobody who'd be any happier about your success than I'd be. But in the entire history of the United States, there's never been a woman president.
Oh, yeah, isn't that exciting? I'll be the first one.
What I tell you...
Hello, George. Hello, Gracie.
Hello, Frank.
I tell you haven't got a Chinaman's chance.
Well, I don't know about that. Confucius say, lady who has eye on presidential chair pretty soon gets seat on it.
And George Burns say, girl who talked nutty Wednesday make good nut Sunday.
Oh, that's good.
How do you like that joke, Frank?
Egyptian monument.
Egyptian monument?
Sphinx.
It does, huh? Gracie, have you any idea what a person has to be before they can become president?
Sure, elected.
The whole thing is absurd.
Oh, stop worrying, George. I may not even be elected until next November.
Well, that's a load off my mind.
I might not even be in the White House before 1941.
I say. In other words, you're as good as in.
I'm better than in.
What do you mean you're better than in?
Well, if I was in now, I'd have to be getting out next January.
You, the President of the United States.
And Mexico.
And Mexico?
Well, sure. It's just across the border from California, so it'll be easy for them to vote for me.
What about Canada?
It'll be a landslide.
You know, this may be a shock to you, but there are some places that don't belong to the United States.
So what? How many votes are there in Glendale anyway?
For president, it takes a person with tremendous stamina. A person with unusual ability and sound judgment. A mental genius.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks. The president has to have courage and show plenty of backbone.
Show plenty of backbone. Well, wait till you see my new evening dress.
Still doesn't make you a leader of men. You have to have plenty of followers.
Well, wait till you see my new evening dress.
Oh, quiet. The president must have determination. He must let people see what he's made of.
Well, wait till you
See my new evening dress. I know.
Say, Gracie, when you're elected president, you ought to change the income tax laws so all stars are allowed the same deductions.
Frank, in this country, everybody's allowed the same deductions.
Oh, yeah? Look what Sally Rand is allowed to take off each year.
How do I get mixed up in these things?
Well, Frank's helping me in my campaign.
Then it'll be a tremendous success.
Sure. You see, every day I have to go out and kiss a lot of babies. And Frank goes along with me to kiss the mothers.
He does, huh?
Yes.
Oh, yes, boy, and I'm a terrific speaker. Why, I addressed 500 mothers this afternoon.
What did you say to him?
Get in line there, kiddies. Get in line there.
Kiddies?
Yeah, he did.
Now, listen to me, Gracie. This thing has got to stop before it goes too far.
Say, George, didn't you know that Gracie was running for president?
Sure, I knew it. But I didn't think she was serious.
Why, certainly she's serious. So are Dewey and Garner.
Yeah, but Dewey and Garner have political affiliations.
Well, maybe that's because they weren't vaccinated.
You don't understand. Have you got a Republican or a Democratic machine in back of you?
No, that's a bustle.
A bustle? Well, I knew it looks good. Glad I asked.
Isn't it exciting, George?
Isn't what exciting?
Well, if Gracie gets in, it'll be the first time that a woman president has ever been elected for a third term.
A third term?
Oh, yes. Oh, she's done a splendid job. I mean, you show me any other country where you can get a double-decker ice cream cone for a nickel.
Ray, I've got a surprise for you. Gracie hasn't done her first and second term yet. You've got her mixed up with Roosevelt.
Oh, no, I haven't. Roosevelt lives in the White House in Washington, and Gracie lives in the Yellow House in Beverly Hills. I know.
Ray, sometime I'm going to have you psychoanalyzed.
Oh, thanks just the same, George, but I've already taken out my first papers.
Well, welcome to our country. That's the silliest thing I ever heard of.
Miss Allen, Heine's thinking the photographer's ready now to take those campaign pictures.
Oh, well, now don't go away, boys. I'll be right back.
Now, listen to me, fellas.
Stop worrying, George. Gracie's promised to give us all swell government jobs.
Government jobs?
Sure.
Are you sap enough to fall for that, Truman?
Sap? Just a minute, George. That's no way to speak to a Supreme Court justice.
Supreme Court justice? Truman, do you actually believe...
Just think, George, I'll be the only ambassador to Great Britain who ever played a violin.
Gracie told you that she would make you ambassador to Great Britain, huh?
Yes. Oh, I had my choice of that or Secretary of the Navy.
I see. But you didn't want to be Secretary of the Navy.
No, I look so silly in a sailor suit.
This whole thing is ridiculous. What did she promise to make you, Frank? Secretary of the Treasury?
Well, she wanted to, George, but I'm too smart to tumble for anything like that.
Well, I'm glad there's somebody left on this program with some sense.
I'm the new Postmaster General.
Postmaster General?
Sure, on account of my experience.
What experience have you had?
Want to play post office?
Oh, go away. Go away. Silly man.
Boys, where do you see the picture I had taken?
I'm not interested in any picture. We're here to do a broadcast.
Well, you know, the Democrats have a donkey and the Republicans have an elephant.
What have you got, a squirrel?
Oh, I wish I'd thought of that. But I posed with a kangaroo.
A kangaroo?
Well, it'll make a wonderful campaign picture.
I'll bet.
It was a mama kangaroo, and the little baby kangaroo was sticking his head out of the pouch. And it's
baby kangaroo sticking his head out of the pouch?
Yes, and it's going to be my election slogan.
What slogan?
It's in the bag.
It is, huh? Now, woman, that.
Has any man ever said to you, darling, I love you forever? He says forever, but in your secret heart you know he means forever as long as you keep yourself attractive. So by all means, help your hands keep their smooth loveliness. Use Heinz Honey and Almond Cream day in and day out. Every single ingredient in Heinz lotion is good for rough or tender skin, whether it's on your face, your hands, or your body. This fine, fragrant cream helps prevent chapping and roughness, and that awful weathered dryness that makes your skin look so drawn and old. Smooth Heinz lotion all over your red hands and wrists. Notice how even one application makes your chapped hands feel softer, look more appealing. Use Heinz as a powder base, too. See how evenly it holds the powder, no caking at all. And as a body rub, Heinz is our honey. It's so extra creamy, extra softening, that every drop brings real soothing comfort to tender skin. Heinz Honey and Almond Cream contains 2 vitamins, 2 A and D. You can count on Heinz, Hinds, for softer, smoother, lovelier skin on hands, face, and body. Now, here is Frank Parker.
Thanks, Drew. For my song tonight, I've chosen Yours Is My Heart Alone by Franz Lehar. Yours is my heart alone, and without you, life holds no charm. Every thought I own, a love the theme of every dream. All that makes life seem worthwhile dwells in your eyes, and the spell of your smile. There is no song that's so sweet to me as your voice whispering, I love you, dear. When far away or near you, in dreams I see and hear you, and yielding to your fascination, I kneel to you in adoration, dear. You alone, I live or die for you, my adored vision bright. voice whispering, I love you, my
Bravo, bravo, Frank. That was swell.
You're just saying that because I'm the Postmaster General.
Oh, stop.
Yes, you are.
Good man.
Frank, I just sent a telegram to my campaign chairman in the Middle West.
Oh, good.
He told me we couldn't get any support from the Farm Belt.
So what?
So I told him to wear suspenders.
What happens if the county seat has two pairs of pants?
Oh, George, you're just trying to say that to make me say silly things so people will laugh at me.
That's bad, huh?
Say, Gracie. Gracie, what's going to be the name of your party?
Well, Truman, you've heard of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party?
Yes.
Well, mine's going to be the Surprise Party.
The what?
The Surprise Party. Surprise. S-U-R-P-R-I-S-E.
Yeah, S for screwy, U for useless,
Yeah, and R for reading, writing, and arithmetic.
P for pinhead.
Yeah, and R for oysters are in season. And I, the knife for an eye.
A tooth for tooth.
And S for some fun, and E for pencil.
E for pencils?
Ever shop?
Well, that old pencil on how you look at it.
Say, the surprise party's a swell name, I think. How'd you happen to call it that, Gracie?
Well, my daddy is a Democrat, and my mother is a Republican. And when I was born, I was a surprise.
So was the Panic of 1907.
Gracie? Yes, Bubbles?
You know those temporary campaign headquarters we opened on Broadway this morning?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to move them.
Why?
There's a streetcar coming.
Oh.
Gracie, just tell the streetcar, believe it or not, you're waiting to be president.
Oh, Gracie, I'm working on your campaign song.
You've got a campaign song?
Oh, yes. It starts like this. I'll be down to get you with the taxpayers' money. Better be ready by the 8:30.
Oh, dearie, don't be late. Let's sing a song. What do you say?
Oh, by the way, Gracie, you know those pictures in Life magazine of that Republican candidate catching that big mackerel at Miami?
Yes?
Well, I just found out that he's just caught it again in Lake Michigan.
Ray, the whole thing was done to get votes.
No, really. What's the fish running for?
It's because it doesn't want to get caught.
Miss Allen, did you see this morning's paper?
No, what was in it?
My lunch.
Your lunch?
Judge, this is my publicity man, Gene.
How do? Well, I'll run along now, but don't forget, Miss Allen, you're jumping out of that plane in the morning.
You're jumping out of a plane in the morning?
Only 10,000 feet. It's just to attract attention.
You're liable to get killed.
Well, sure, but look at all the publicity I'll get.
Gracie, will you stop this?
Miss Allen, I'm a sign painter. Are the slogans ready for your campaign signs?
Oh, well, I'll make up a few right now. Bubbles, get a pencil.
Okay.
Number 1. Confucius says, Gracie Allen for Prez.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I've got it.
Number 2. Gracie Allen for Alderman.
Gracie Allen for alderman?
Yeah, and aldermen for Gracie Allen.
Hey, that's wonderful.
Yes, and baking powder for Burns.
Number 3.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
Thanks.
Number 3, we'll make one sign with nothing on it.
A sign with nothing on it?
Sure, to get the nudist vote.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Gracie, why don't you have a doctor examine your head, and if he finds anything, have somebody examine the doctor?
Well, that would be a good idea for me, too.
Yes, do that.
You know, I think this will make an awfully jolly sign, Gracie. If you're 21, vote for Gracie Allen. If you're not 21, have your mother do it for you. If your mother isn't 21, ask your father. If your father isn't 21, then don't bother reading this sign.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
It's wonderful.
Sign painter, get out of here with that's wonderful.
All right, Mr. Boynes, but you'll hear from me when I'm Attorney General.
At least, Gracie, if you are elected, I'll get rid of you for 4 years.
12 years.
12 years?
Sure, I'm not superstitious about third terms.
You're not, huh? Do you people realize that right now our sponsor is probably listening?
Oh, I say, Bubbles, I happen to see a drawing of you on the Republican poster. Quite flattering, too. Who drew that?
Mr. Noble, that was an elephant.
It's amazing. What will they teach him to do next?
Cheerio.
Oh, cheerio.
Yeah.
You know, Gracie, I've been worrying about the speeches you're going to make at your rallies.
Hey, Have you rallied?
Yes, have you really? Well, wait till you hear the speeches through, and then you'll have something to worry about.
Well, I'm serious, George. You see, Gracie, a presidential candidate has to shake hands with millions of people.
As if we don't know what's coming.
Why, in a single campaign, the average candidate shakes enough hands to milk all the cows in the country.
Is that so? And what do they do with all the milk?
They use it to whitewash their opponents.
Say, George, is it true that the whitewash is
That's
more
enough,
than the
Gracie. You don't
backwash
even
is?
have to finish it. Just stay where you
I want
are.
to know.
So at your rallies, Gracie, I can protect you. You see, before each meeting, I can tell the voters how Heinz Honey and Almond Cream will make their hands soft and make their hands white and make their hands smooth.
Well, what if they've only got two hands?
Then they can use a small bottle.
Oh.
See what I mean? A small size.
Yes.
Why, if they'll only use a 25-cent bottle while you're speaking, Gracie, their hands will be thrilling to touch and good till the last drop.
Truman, you're thinking of Maxwell House coffee.
Oh, pardon me.
Oh, hello, Jim.
Hello, Miss Allen. Well, they said I couldn't do it. Well, I couldn't get anywhere here in Los Angeles, so I flew right to Sacramento. I couldn't get to first base there. So without food or sleep, I went on to Jefferson City, Missouri. From there to Springfield, Illinois. On into Albany, New York City, and then to Washington, D.C., and I clicked.
Nice work.
Here it is.
What is that?
Horns.
Horns?
I've got to give them out at my convention.
Well, I give up.
These are $3 a dozen, Miss Allen, and they're a steal.
Okay, steal me a dozen.
Now, here's a horn that the Republicans and Democrats are using. Of course, this is very hard to blow.
Oh, well, they have more wind than we have.
Yeah, but not between the ears. And what is this convention?
For the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, where are you going to hold it?
By the handle.
Come on, come on.
Bubbles, sit down and take a letter.
All right. Now, is the letter important, or can I leave my gloves on?
Well, it's
Gracie, you better talk quietly. She uses a soft pencil.
Oh. Letter. Frank, what's today's date?
Elsie, Edna couldn't make it.
February 28th.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh, good. To all other presidential candidates, semicolon, United States of America, period, gentlemen, question mark.
Gentlemen, question mark.
I've got it.
Well, boys, the jig is up.
Well, it's a nice opening.
Election day will be in November this year. Turkeys will cost you 38 cents a pound. Cranberries will be 50 cents a bucket. Plum puddings will be $2 each. But a good president won't cost you a nickel, so be sure and go out and vote for me.
You're asking the other presidential candidates to vote for you?
Well, sure, there's so many presidential candidates that if I only get half of them to vote for me, I'm bound to be elected.
I see what you mean.
Go ahead, continue.
This letter is being dictated by a lady, typewritten by a lady, so don't forget to take your hats off while you're reading it.
I got it.
All right. Sign it, Gracie Allen, President of the United States, and mail it out right away.
Gracie, you're not president yet.
Well, I will be by the time this letter is delivered.
That's some letter.
And Bubbles, make 50,000 copies.
One for each candidate.
Yes.
I thought so, yes.
Bubbles, address the envelopes in girlish handwriting. Mark it personal and send it to their homes. I want their wives to read it, too.
50,000 copies. Well, it's a nice hunk of postage to throw away.
What do you mean, postage? I'll initial the corners of the envelopes, and they won't need stamps.
Frank, will you believe this? For a minute, I forgot that you were Postmaster General.
Well, that's life, I guess.
Yes, I guess
People
so.
forget,
Right.
you know.
Miss Allen, the reporters are here.
Oh, well, send them in.
The reporters?
Uh-huh.
This way, gentlemen.
Miss Allen, I'm Harry Crocker of the Examiner.
I do.
Matt Weinstock, Daily News.
I
Casey
do.
Shawn, Los Angeles Times.
I do.
Gracie, why are you shaking hands with your left hand?
Well, I'm saving my right hand for when I'm president.
How do?
I do.
Miss Allen, my newspaper wants to know just what your platform is.
Well, it's knotty pine trimmed with oak and inlaid with California redwood.
That's to match your head.
Yes.
I thought so, yes.
Miss Allen, what would be the first thing you would do if you were elected?
I put my daddy in the Senate.
Your daddy doesn't know anything about the Senate.
Oh, yeah, he's been making speeches from the floor for years.
He's still on the floor, I'll bet.
That's my daddy.
That's the kid, yeah.
Miss Allen, my city editor wants to know what your opinion is on capitalism versus the little man.
Oh, I know. I never go to wrestling matches.
Are you in favor of monopolies?
Oh, well, I don't play Monopoly. I like mahjong better. Yes.
What do you think of the neutrality bill?
Well, if we owe it, let's pay it.
Gracie, why don't you call this all? You know nothing about it. You haven't said one thing that's right.
Well, I'd rather be president than right.
Boys, there's no use trying to interview her.
Mr. Burns, will you stop balling her up?
I'm balling her up?
Yeah,
quiet.
Miss Allen, all the other candidates are talking on how to bring back prosperity. Now, what's your point?
She doesn't even know what prosperity is.
I do, too. Prosperity is when business is good enough so that you can buy the things on credit that you can't afford anyway, and that way you can save enough money to pay cash for new things after they've taken back the things you've got on credit.
How are you doing, boys?
Miss Allen, would you recognize Russia?
Well, that's hard to say. You see, I meet so many people.
I don't have to meet them all on this program, do you?
What do you think of the British blockade?
Oh, we'll get by.
We will, Alan.
Look, I say, George, I don't mind being referred to as British, but I do object to being called a blockade.
Boys, this is Ray Noble.
Hello.
I do. He looks like a pipe cleaner I once threw away.
Well, now, that's possible. Where did you throw me?
Cheerio.
Oh, cheerio.
Cheerio, yeah.
Miss Allen, what do you think of our national debt?
Well, we ought to be proud of it. It's the biggest in the world.
Boys, either go ahead or just go so that we can do our broadcast.
Quiet.
Quiet?
Yeah,
Quiet. Now, Miss Allen, how would you keep our gold reserve from shrinking?
Well, I'd wash it in luck.
Truman, maybe you can get these guys out.
Well, I'll try, George. Say, boys, I've got a bottle in my overcoat.
A bottle?
Scotch or rye?
High and sunny almond cream.
Thanks, Truman.
You're too late, Truman. I gave that bottle to my girl. She's got a couple of chaps I'm trying to get rid of.
Thanks, Frank.
Boys, this is Frank Parker, the Postmaster General.
Well, he ought to be swell. He's got a face like an old-style 1-cent stamp.
It's a nice TL for you, Pinky.
Thanks.
Now, Miss Allen, just a few more questions.
Boys.
Is there anything we can actually...
Boys, are you through?
Not yet, Mr. Burns, but don't feel that you have to stick around on our account.
Well, this is the end. I'm going to call up the sponsor and explain the whole thing to him. I'm not going to lose my job.
Come on, boys, let's finish the interview.
Operator, get me long distance.
Hold the line.
Miss Allen, is there anything...
Now, please, boys, Mr. Burns is calling the sponsor.
Hey, this Noble guy looks very familiar. Mr. Noble, didn't I once see you in Yonkers?
I don't think so. I haven't worn a pair of Yonkers in years.
Long distance.
Get me Mr. Marvin of the Heinz Honey and Almond Cream Company, New York.
Hold the line.
Miss Allen, is there anything that you can actually promise the voters?
Oh, sure. I can promise voters that if I can't find a way to reduce the high cost of living, then we'll just have to do without it.
Here's your party.
Hello, Mr. Marvin.
Yes?
This is George Burns speaking.
Oh, yes. How are you?
Well, I just want to call you up and tell you that I have nothing to do with Gracie's running for president. I've been trying to do a broadcast, and all she's been doing is giving away political jobs.
Well, that's the president's privilege, and
quiet. Let me get through talking. It's ridiculous, Mr. Marvin, making an orchestra leader an ambassador, making a tenor a postmaster general, and making an announcer a Supreme Court justice. It's not my doings, and I just want to tell you that I'm not going to stand for it.
Just a minute, Mr. Burns. Don't raise your voice to the Secretary of State.
Secretary of State? And here's a bit of handy advice.
Children love playing in the snow. But do you know how that cold wind and freezing slush can chafe their hands and knees? They come indoors with cheeks as red as apples, looking so healthy and lovable. But the first thing you know, their tender skin feels so uncomfortable. And their little hands are so red and chapped, you feel positively sorry for them. Now, it's easy to help guard against chapping in the first place. Train your youngsters to cream their hands and faces with Heinz before going out in the cold. Heinz Honey and Almond Cream is extra creamy, extra softening. Helps keep skin smooth and comfortable. Put a bottle of Heinz in the coat closet, ready to smooth on hands and faces and knees. Children love Heinz. It's so nice and fragrant, not sticky either. Just feels so grand and soothing. You can get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream at toilet goods counters in 10, 25, 50-cent sizes, or the big economy dollar size for family use.
And now Gracie will sing Chula Chihuahua. Sing it.
Agua caliente, I'll never forget. Agua caliente, there is where I bought a pet. A little toy, oh boy, my chihuahua, he is my pride and joy. How I love the promenade, the boulevard, walking my chihuahua. People stop and stare most everywhere when I'm walking my chihuahua. All the dogs are jealous because the fellas keep petting my chihuahua. Though he isn't much protection, that's why men show their affection for me. See, he goes woof, woof, woof.
Chula, chula.
Bow, bow, wow.
Bonita, bonita.
Woof, woof, woof.
Figurita, figurita.
In Mexico, it's I love you. Meet the moon above, I met my secret love walking my chihuahua. If you're lonely, there is only one thing to do. Get a chihuahua. Walk this way. Hip, hip, hooray. Chula, chihuahua. Chihuahua, wah. Wah, 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 wah. Chula, chihuahua. See. Come and see the company that comes to see me and my chihuahua. Tea time is the time they come to tea time with me and my chihuahua. Dogs of noble pedigree are jealous of me and my chihuahua. But I prefer him to a Scotty cause he's just a little naughty. I'm glad he's not a terrier because he makes life merrier. He's better than a setter cause he's such a great go-getter. He's smaller than a poodle. He knows how to use his noodle. I'm my wonderful chihuahua.
Now you can enjoy both Heinz lotion in bottles and Heinz hand cream in jars. Those smart red and white jars contain the fluffiest, creamiest hand cream Heinz could make. Like the famous Heinz lotion, the new Heinz hand cream is quick softening for chapped hands. It comes in two sizes, 10 cents and 39 cents a jar.
Thanks, Truman. Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
No, wait. First, I want to thank Bill Coram for his lovely wire endorsing my campaign.
Well, good. Now say goodnight.
Well, good night. I'll see you in the White House.
Say goodnight.
Next Wednesday at this same time, over these same stations, George and Gracie and all the rest of us will be back again. Don't forget. And don't forget, for honeymoon hands, it's Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Hello, my friends. The Heinz Honey and Almond Cream program. Starring George Burns and Gracie Allen, with Frank Parker, Ray Noble and his orchestra, and Truman Bradley speaking. And now George Burns and Heinz Honey, our presidential candidate who threw her hat in the ring and forgot to take it off, Gracie Allen.
Thank you very, very much.
Hello.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, at that sales girl at Bullock's Wilshire today.
What happened?
Well, I told her I wanted 2 pairs of silk stockings, a brassiere, and a girdle.
And what's so funny?
Well, you should have seen her face when she asked who they were for, and I said they're for the President of the United States.
Oh, yes. Must have been screaming.
Oh.
Say, your campaign's sure been keeping you busy, hasn't it?
Oh, yes, Truman. I've been giving interviews, posing for pictures, appearing on radio programs. Well, last Sunday I was on Jack Benny's program.
I heard you, and you as well.
Oh, well, thanks, Don.
You're welcome, Mary.
You know, Jack called for me in his Maxwell, and it was so romantic. All during the ride to the studio, he drove with one hand.
Well, where did he keep his other hand? Around your waist?
Well, no, on the fender. It kept falling off.
I'd like to see that, Maxwell.
Well, they certainly are swanky on the Benny program. As soon as we arrived at the studio, Rochester rushed up and took Jack's hat and coat. And
Did he take your hat and coat?
Oh, don't be silly. Mine wouldn't fit him.
No, not nearly as well as Jack.
No.
Hello, Frank.
Hello.
Oh, my, but my new Postmaster General looks pretty tonight.
Oh, thanks, Prez. Say, Gracie, when you were up there Sunday night, did you meet Dennis Day?
Oh, sure, I met him.
Well, confidentially, Gracie, what is he like?
What is he like? Well, he's got the most beautiful...
Well, never mind. Don't tell me.
Oh, say. You're not jealous, are you, Pinky?
Jealous? Say, what has he got that I didn't have before he got it? And if he has it, where did he get it?
Well, I happen to know that he gets hundreds of fan letters every day.
Well, he won't get them much longer.
He won't,
No.
You seem to forget that he has a wonderful voice.
And you seem to forget that I'm going to be the Postmaster General.
Yeah.
I think I see what you mean. But, Frank, do you know what you can get for fooling around with the mails?
Well, my sister Hazel got a fur coat.
Oh, quiet.
Well, Dennis Day is cute. He said he has half a mind to vote for me.
Well, if you get enough people with half a mind, you're bound to be elected.
Yeah, I know. Mary Livingston's going to be Queen of England.
Mary Livingston is going to be Queen of England?
That's what she said. She says, Gracie, when you're President of the United States, I'll be the Queen of England.
But only she'll get there first.
Oh, yeah?
Hello, Ray.
Hello. I say, Gracie, I'd like to ask you this. Is San Francisco part of the United States?
Well, I wouldn't know, Ray. You see, I was born there, but I left when I was 12 years old, and I never found out.
Of course San Francisco is part of the United States. Why?
Well, my band is playing there at the Palace Hotel, you know, and the people there are continually asking, how do you like it in this country, Mr. Noble?
And what do you say?
Well, of course, I try to flatter them, so I say I like their country nearly as well as my own good old USA.
Nice piece of flattery, Ray.
Oh, and last Thursday, I met Baby Snooks.
I know.
Baby Snooks and her daddy are going to vote for me, too.
No, they're not.
Why?
Vote for you, it's ridiculous.
Why?
Stop with that lie. Baby Snooks is only 7 years old, and you've got to be 21.
Yeah, but she's got to vote 3 times.
Well, I never thought of that.
So, you know, it's a funny thing, George. From where I was standing, I could have sworn Baby Snooks looked just like Fanny Bryce.
Yeah. You know, they're slightly related.
Oh, that's why.
That's why, yeah.
Oh.
Say, Gracie, I heard you last week on Rudy Valley's program.
Oh, yes, and is that Rudy affectionate?
Hey, wasn't that Francis Langford on the program?
Yeah, did you hear it?
No, Francis hasn't got a radio in his car.
Oh. Don't cancel your stamps.
Yesterday, a motorcycle cop stopped me for speeding, and I said, you can't stop me, officer. I've just been appointed to Supreme Court judge by our next president, Gracie Allen.
Oh, good for you, Truman.
Sure, right away, his whole attitude changed. He was very polite.
What do you mean by polite?
He took his hat off while he was writing out the ticket.
I thought so.
And last night I met Sybil McGee and Molly. And Harlow Wilcox, the announcer, made a swell speech all about me.
Did he mention Johnson's floor wax?
Yeah, he saved that for the finish.
Oh, that's a bright finish.
You know, Molly's going to get all the girls in Wistful Vista to vote for me.
So what? 3 votes in Wistful Vista is a landslide.
Well, she said she's going to make her husband vote for me, too.
Pepper?
No, she's telling the truth.
Gracie, don't you know when people are pulling your leg?
No. You know, once I thought somebody was pulling my leg, but it was only my girdle tugging at my heartstrings.
Did you ever have your knee tapped with a hammer to test your reflexes?
Oh, sure, by a well-known psychiatrist.
Well, how about the little jerk?
Well, he charged me $5.
And believe me, it was worth it.
Well, anyhow, Molly was very happy to get my recipe for spaghetti a la Rand McNally.
Spaghetti a la Rand McNally?
Yes, instead of a recipe, I used a road map.
I see. Sort of a detour to indigestion.
Yes. Well, you see, the spaghetti covered with red sauce are the main highways.
I did.
And the plain white spaghetti are the unpaved highways.
Sounds very interesting.
Yes, and the meatballs mark the state capitals.
Well, with a dish like that, I guess the speed limit would be 15 meals an hour. How's that one, Frank?
Cheap underwear.
Cheap underwear?
It shrinks.
It does, Why do I always ask?
Oh, that's you.
I said, George, there's something I don't quite understand about politics.
What don't you understand, Ray?
This mudslinging.
Well, what about it?
Well, the money that the candidates use to buy the mud with, is that called the slush fund?
Yes, Ray, it's...
Say, Ray, how's my campaign doing up in San Francisco?
Well, I didn't like the attitude of some of the people at the polls when I went to vote for you yesterday.
You tried to vote for Gracie yesterday?
Oh, of course, yes. I went into the booth and pulled the curtain across the front and turned that jolly little handle, and before I knew it, somebody was pouring water all over me.
Ray, that was a shower, and you turned it on yourself.
I don't care who did it. It was a dirty trick.
Well, the next time you see a voting booth marked laundry chute, step into it.
All right, all right.
Righto, yeah.
You know, Bob Hope is going to vote for me, too.
All right, so we ain't neat.
Oh, George, you should have been with me last night when I was on his program.
It's bad enough to be with you on this program.
Yeah, isn't it?
I mean, I don't like it.
Yeah, don't we have fun?
Oh, quiet. What about the Bob Hope program? Did he make a speech?
Well, did he?
Yes.
Well, I
mean,
started.
did you make a speech?
Well, I started to, but I stopped.
You stopped? Why?
Well, every time I opened my mouth, he brushed my teeth.
Do that every time. So Bob Hope was going to vote for you, huh?
Well, he said he didn't want to see me in the White House.
So what?
So I met him downstairs in the drugstore.
Well, that's nice. Did you meet Brenda and Cabina?
Oh, what station are they on?
They're on Bob Hope's show. The two female Draculas, two girls without shapes or teeth, and they both had beards.
Were they on the Bob Hope show?
Sure.
Oh, I thought I dreamt that.
Gracie, did anybody ever tell you that you were a little delirious?
Yeah, Dr. IQ Monday night. And he tried to quiz me.
He tried to quiz you?
Yeah, he put his arms around my waist and he quizzed me a little bit, and then I said I...
Never mind. Gracie, I've heard enough. The whole thing is absolutely...
Oh, it's probably my campaign manager.
Yeah, probably.
Heinz, Honey, and Almond Cream program. Heinz, Honey speaking. Yes. Who? Oh, hello. How are you? Fine. What? Can I recommend a good trucking company to move your things? Well, let me think now. How soon do you have to get out? Oh, that soon, huh? Well, I'm doing a program now, but I'll call you back later. Goodbye.
Who was that?
President Roosevelt.
It was, And now, Truman Bradley with a simple musical handle.
Ever since school days, Anne had a sweetheart named Joel. And when Joe and Anne grew up, they were married. And should have lived happily ever after, but they didn't. For Anne started in doing dishes and cleaning house every day and forgot to take care of her hands. She should have used Heinz Honey and Almond Cream, you know. So one night, Joe looked at Anne and said,
"Your hands give me the shivers. They're chapped and red. Just like a man's, rough as sandpaper."
Anne cried and cried. Then, being a very sensible girl, she stopped crying and bought herself a bottle of Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. She used Heinz that day, and the next day, and every single day thereafter. Well, you know what happened. Heinz Honey and Almond Cream helped Anne win back her soft, thrilling honeymoon hands, in spite of all that housework. And back came her thrilling man, Joe, with more compliments than ever. Now, the moral of this little story is, use Heinz Honey and Almond Cream yourself for softer, smoother hands. For Heinz is extra creamy, extra softening, contains 2 vitamins, A and D, and Heinz gives you thrilling honeymoon hands for good. Now, here is Frank Parker.
Thanks, Drew. From the musical show, Roberta, by that master of melody, Jerome Kern, I'm going to sing an enchanting song, Lovely to Look At. What appeals to me is just your charm and dignity. Not what you wear, but just an air of great repose. You are are quite perfect from your head down to your toes, both night and day. I am moved to say, dear, lovely to look at, delightful to know, and heaven to kiss. A combination like this is quite my most impossible scheme come true. Imagine finding a dream like you. You're lovely to look at, it's thrilling to hold you terribly tight. For we're together, the moon is new, and oh, it's lovely to look at you tonight. Lovely to look at, delightful to know, and heaven to kiss. A combination like this is quite my most impossible scheme come true. Imagine finding a dream like you. You're lovely to look at, it's thrilling to hold you terribly tight. For we're together, the moon is new, and oh, it's lovely to look at you tonight. You're beautiful, my darling, just the way you look tonight.
That was the best I've heard that song done. It was beautiful.
Ah, thanks, boss. And just for that, I'll let you go through the post office as first-class mail.
Well, I'll sit right down and call myself a letter.
Oh, boys, I just found out a way to give all the other candidates a terrific licking.
A licking?
Uh-huh.
How?
Well, I'll put their pictures in all the stamps.
So to make it feel like 2 cents.
Yeah.
Hello, Gracie.
Oh, Bubbles, you're late.
I know, but your campaign mail has been pouring in by the bucketful.
Oh, good. Dry it off and we'll read it.
Yes. Hang it on the line outside.
And listen to this telegram. Dear Gracie, your name came up at the polls today. Signed Admiral Byrd.
Aww. Isn't that sweet? He's discovering me, too.
The polls will be about the only place where you'll knock them cold.
Oh, George, listen to this one. Atta girl, Gracie. Show them what's in you. Los Angeles X-Ray Company.
They think you're going to be president, huh?
Well, they know it. They've got a little inside dope.
You're telling me.
And, Gracie, before you do another thing, you better decide where you're going to hold your convention.
Oh, yeah.
The surprise party convention, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I think you ought to hold it on the water, and if nobody calls for it in 30 days, you can keep it.
Well, that ain't the way I heard it, Johnny.
Oh, quiet.
See, convention. Oh, Bubbles, take a letter to Boston.
Boston?
Oh, yeah, they got swell baked beans there.
Well, I don't like baked beans. I like a good stew.
And my brother likes you, too.
Well, thanks.
All right, I'm ready.
All good. Boston, Mass. Dear sir.
I guess Mississippi would be dear madam.
Dear sir, in answer to the letter that you're going to write me, tear it up, Bubbles. I'm too busy.
Yeah, she's busy. You mean dizzy.
Gracie, how about holding your convention in Topeka? What do you think, George?
Well, I think the whole thing is silly. It's like a fellow who owned a restaurant and had a lot of rye bread that he couldn't sell.
Oh, pardon me, George, but if Grace is elected, what are you going to do?
I'll take it easy. This fellow owned a restaurant.
Well, of course, if she's not elected, don't you take it too hard.
Yes, I'll kill myself. Or just kill me.
And Ray, I'm going to invite you to the White House for the Easter egg hunt.
Oh, you'll never regret it. I know how to color those eggs for you.
Do you? How?
Just put me on the dyes committee.
Oh, go.
Your convention in San Francisco. What do you think, George?
I think it's silly. It's like the fellow who owned a restaurant and had a lot of rye bread that he couldn't sell.
Good old San Francisco.
He had a lot of rye...
Good old San
Francisco,
yeah. I used to know a model there. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, a gorgeous figure, and boy, could she wear clothes.
Beautiful, huh?
Beautiful? Well, I went with her for 6 months before I found out she was a wax dummy.
Oh.
She probably melted in your arm.
Say, Bubbles, I think I will hold my convention in San Francisco.
All right, hold it in San Francisco.
Well, what's the matter with Omaha?
There's nothing the matter with Omaha.
And why shouldn't I hold it in Omaha?
Nobody said that you shouldn't hold it in Omaha.
Well, then what's all the argument about?
There's no argument.
Oh. Well, when I make up my mind where to hold my convention, I make up my mind. Bubbles, take a letter.
All right, ready, Gracie.
Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Oh, nuts.
Dear Cal. Tear it up.
Tear it up. He's too busy, yes. Bubbles, if I were you, I'd write with the eraser.
Gracie, how about holding the convention in Cleveland?
I think the whole thing is silly. It's like that man who owned a restaurant and he had a lot of rye bread that he couldn't sell.
I agree with George. That's where we ought to hold it.
Where?
In that restaurant.
What restaurant?
With that man who has all
Ray,
that
will you leave
bread.
me alone?
Say, Gracie, how about Atlantic City?
Oh, Atlantic City would be wonderful.
Sure.
That's where the Elks hold their convention.
Yeah, but you're not running for the Elks.
No, but the last time I was there, 2 Elks ran for me.
Well, Gracie, you remember that old saying, a rolling elk gathers no moose. I kind of like that, Truman, huh?
No.
No.
What are you laughing at?
George, imagine Gracie elected and me a Supreme Court judge sitting on the bench selling Heinz honey almond cream.
Yeah, I can see you now in that long black robe.
Yeah, and me alongside him holding his soft white hand.
Yeah. George, it'll sound something like this. In the case of the people versus rough red hands, I find that the defendants, Old Man Winter and Old Lady Housework, did willfully and intentionally inflict upon the plaintiffs bodily harm in the form of dried, chapped hands.
He's another Lawton.
The evidence shows that your hands can thrill some of the people some of the time, some of the people all of the time, but for hands that thrill all the people all of the time, use Heinz honey and almond cream. Case dismissed.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Well, I get it, Truman. The Supreme Court is the dollar bottle.
Comical and economic.
Thank you.
Say, Bubbles, that settles it. I'll hold my convention in Omaha. Take a letter.
All right.
Omaha, Nebraska. Dear Neb.
Dear Neb,
Well, Miss Allen, you know our party emblem, the mama kangaroo with a baby kangaroo in the pouch?
Yeah, what about it?
Well, the baby is lost.
Well, how did that happen?
Mama's got a hole in her pocket.
Get out. Get out.
I say, George, what is a kangaroo?
Kangaroo is an animal that lives on mountaintops.
Really? What a strange diet.
Ray, do you know that you and Gracie are nuts?
That's what Jerry Colonna keeps telling them down at the office.
Oh. Now, what do they say?
They say, we know.
We know, and so do we.
Gracie, your letter.
Oh, yes. Omaha, Nebraska. Dear Neb. You know, George, I love Omaha. I'd even live in Omaha except for one thing.
What's that?
Too far from the White House.
Yes. Be too long of a walk to the office every day.
Yeah. Letter. Omaha, Nebraska. Dear Neb. I will feed
Hey,
you...
Gracie, at your convention, are you taking a straw vote?
Yes.
Well, then I'd better not take my felt hat.
Oh, stop. I can explain how silly this whole thing is. Just listen to me for 1 minute. It's like a fellow who had a restaurant and he had a lot of rye bread that he couldn't sell.
Now, please, Judge, Bubbles is writing. Bubbles, read back the letter.
Omaha, Nebraska. Dear Neb. It's just like that fellow who had a restaurant and he had a lot of rice.
Wait a minute. That's the letter?
Yes.
Doesn't make sense. It's ridiculous. It's stupid.
Well, then why were you trying to tell it?
Oh, come on. beautiful. Isn't that composition from your Indian suite?
Yes, darling.
Oh, go away.
Oh, come on in, Charlie. Boys, this is Charlie Henderson.
Hello, Charlie. How are
Charlie
you?
Henderson, George Burns.
How do you do, Mr. Henderson?
You're Mr. Henderson.
Oh, excuse me. I'm a little nearsighted. You mind if I sit down?
No. Chair is over there.
Oh, pardon me. I washed my eyes this morning, and I can't do a thing with them.
Gracie, where did you find this guy?
I got him in a raffle.
In a raffle?
Yeah, I lost.
Oh, you were framed. What does he do?
Well, he's a songwriter. He wrote my campaign song.
Campaign song? And he wrote it?
Yes.
You don't believe me? I'll play the piano for you.
I'd like to hear it. You're supposed to open the piano first, you know.
Oh, gee. I washed my ears this morning and can't hear a thing with them.
Well, he's a great songwriter. You know how a songwriter needs a partner? One fellow writes the music and one writes the words?
Yes.
Well, he has two partners.
Two partners?
Yes, one writes the lyrics and the other writes the melody.
What does he do?
He turns the pages.
Smart as a whip.
Gracie, shall I play the campaign song on the bass fiddle?
Oh, sure, Charlie.
Boy, this is a beautiful bass fiddle. Well, here I go.
That's Bubbles, and get away from her.
Mind your own business, Mr. Burns.
Look, Charlie, will you go and sit down in the audience until we're through?
Okay. Mr. Burns, where are the steps?
Right over there, right here.
Never mind, I found them.
Well, we washed his feet and couldn't do a thing with them.
Oh, George, you'll be crazy about my campaign song. You see, every president had a campaign song. Even George Washington had a campaign song.
Well, what was it?
The Song of the Cherry Tree.
Song of the Cherry Tree?
Yeah, well, chop, chop, chop.
Oh, all right, stop.
How about sailing along on Moonlight Bay?
For a campaign song?
No, to look for a place to hold Gracie's convention.
Yes, Ray, we'll go right now.
Oh, then I'd better run home and pack my rowboat.
Yes, do that,
Yes.
do that, yes.
You know, George, it's not easy to write a campaign song. Charlie was 6 months doing this song.
Why?
Well, they wouldn't let him out any sooner.
That's a smart kid.
Yeah, Charlie wrote this song by ear.
By ear?
Well, how else can you hold a pencil when you're in a straitjacket?
Well, he could hold it in his mouth.
Well, where would he put his fountain?
I don't know. You brought him in here.
Well, he's a fine composer. He writes for strings and for brass. One time he even got money.
Yes, that was when he wasn't looking.
Say, speaking of campaign songs, the Postmaster General ought to have a little number. George, do you know Margie?
Yes.
Has she got a phone?
What about Edna?
Temporarily disconnected.
Get it.
George, I must tell you about Charlie.
I'd rather hear your campaign song.
Well, in a minute. You see, Charlie learned to play a saxophone by mail.
By mail?
Yeah, he didn't have a saxophone.
So what'd he do?
Well, he used to blow his lessons into an envelope and send it to a friend who had a saxophone.
Well, I've heard enough about him, Gracie.
Well, very few people know this, but Charlie played the Flight of the Bumblebee on the piccolo.
How did it leak out?
Through the hole.
Oh, it did. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
And now I'll introduce my... See? Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. She's the best little skipper in the land. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Won't you please give this little girl a hand? That's me. Even big politicians don't know what to do. Gracie doesn't know either, but neither do you. So vote for Gracie. To win the presidential race, 100 million strong. That's right, you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie. Keep voting all day long.
Keep voting all day long. Keep voting all day long. Fill up the ballot box. Keep voting all day long. Gracie, rock, rock, rock.
My friend, are you so Gracie? Well, thanks. Would you like to hear Frank Parker sing my song?
Oh, Gracie! Oh, Figaro! Say, Gracie, there's something you ought to know. I'm for Gracie, truly the voice of Mary Casey.
100 million strong.
That's right, you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie. Keep voting all day long. And now who'd like to hear George sing a chorus?
Thank you.
all vote for Gracie so I can be by myself. Please vote for Gracie so I'll be happy on the shelf. If she's elected, I'll be neglected so I can stay home and play solitaire and keep that silly dame out of my head.
Vote for Gracie, the best little skipper in the land. Vote for Gracie, Gracie. Won't you please give this little girl a hand? She'll be honor and fame to the feminine sex.
If you can't write your name, you can vote with the next.
Vote for Gracie.
Spell Gracie.
Accept no substitute.
She's pretty and she's cute.
Vote for Gracie, I repeat to see you. Vote for Gracie, yeah. Vote for Gracie, yeah.
The country's going Gracie, so can you.
Hey! Vote.
Uncle Sam, let me paddle your canoe. I'm just like Joan of Arc. I hear destiny call. It's the call to the ballpark to throw out the ball.
Vote for Gracie. You win the presidential racing. 100 million pounds.
That's right, you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie. Isn't it fun?
Keep
voting all day long.
Well, we're certainly having winter with a vengeance. Daily reports of freezing temperatures, sleet storms raging from coast to coast. Now, sleet and bitter cold wind can chap your hands severely. If you must go outdoors in this weather, be sure to lotion your hands first with Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. Take a tip from thousands of outdoor workers who use Heinz regularly. Telephone linemen, cross-country truck drivers, farmers, men whose jobs keep them out in the worst weather. They've found from experience that Heinz is extra creamy, extra softening, and works fast to help keep hands smooth and comfortable. Well, naturally, if Heinz helps extreme chapping like that, then you know it will help guard your family against chapping in all kinds of weather. And say, you know that dry, winter, itchy feeling you get all over, especially when you wear heavy woolen clothing? Well, just try Heinz as a body rub after your bath. It feels wonderfully soothing to chapped, tender skin. You can get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream at the nearest toilet goods counter in 10, 25, and 50-cent sizes, and the big dollar bottle, which is economical for family use. Remember Heinz, spelled H-I-N-D-S.
Thanks, Truman. Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
Well, good night. I've got to run home and knit a sweater for the little stranger who's coming to the White House.
What little stranger?
The Vice President.
Good night, all.
Now you can take your choice, Heinz Hand Cream or Heinz Lotion. Or best of all, treat yourself to both. Heinz Hand Cream comes in smart red and white jars. Like the famous lotion, Heinz Hand Cream is a quick softener for rough hands. It's inexpensive, too, in two sizes, only 10 cents and 39 cents a jar.
Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. She's the best little skipper in the land. Vote for Gracie.
Join us again next Wednesday at the same time over these same stations. Good night. Truman Bradley speaking. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Politicians don't know what to do. Gracie doesn't know either, but neither do you. So vote for Gracie. You'll win the presidential racing. 100 million pounds.
Hello, my friends. The Heinz Honey and Almond Cream program.
Vote for Gracie! Vote for Gracie! Vote for Gracie! Vote for Gracie! Vote for Gracie!
Starring George Burns and Gracie Allen with Frank Parker, Ray Noble and his orchestra, and Truman Bradley speaking.
100 million pounds, and might you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie! Keep voting all day long!
Presenting our presidential candidate who just flew back from Washington, where she was the honored guest at the Women's National Press Club's annual dinner, Heinz Honey, Gracie Allen.
Thank you very much.
And now presenting her partner, who just got back from the opening of a meat market, George Burns.
Thank you, my friend, and you are my friend.
Oh, he is nice to Brother Willie.
I noticed that suit looks familiar.
Say, Gracie, we're all dying to know what happened in Washington.
Well, it's a long story, so I'll tell it.
Good.
Now, I met Mrs. Dewey, Mrs. Vandenberg, Mrs. Burton Wheeler, Mrs. Bennett Champ Clark, and I met, what's her name now? Oh, I know it so well.
Was she live in Washington?
Yeah, in a big White House.
Mrs. Roosevelt?
Yeah.
I thought so, yeah.
Oh, George, you should have been at that dinner.
What would I be doing there?
Well, all the wives of the other candidates were there.
Well, I didn't have what to wear.
You mean you had to stay home and watch the children?
Quiet. Gracie, you spoke at this banquet in Washington. What happened?
Yeah, tell us the details, Gracie.
Well, I got on the plane at Burbank.
Yeah.
Oh, and what a plane. The cutest pilot you ever saw in your life.
Gracie, the banquet.
Oh, I'm coming to that.
Oh.
He had blue eyes and brown shoes.
Nice combination.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yes.
Say, Gracie, it was pretty cloudy that day. How was the visibility?
Oh, pretty fair. I was sitting on his lap, but he could see over my shoulder.
Gracie, the banquet.
I'm coming to that.
Say, George, if Gracie is elected, what are you going to do?
You think you're kidding, huh? I'm beginning to worry, too.
Well, don't worry. You can always write a column, and I can correct the spelling.
Well, thanks, kid.
Oh, and George, what a thrill I got. There we were flying 10,000 feet over the Grand Canyon, and the pilot let go of the controls and put both arms around me.
Did he start falling?
Oh, you said it, and I fell for him, too.
Gracie, did you ever get to Washington?
Well, where do you think I made that speech?
Speech?
Yes.
What speech?
At the banquet.
Well, what did you say?
Oh, coming to that.
Well, come to it.
And we flew over Texas. Freddie the pilot, you know, he's the pilot.
Yeah, so I know.
Well, he had a little trouble. He stuck his left hand out to make a left-hand turn and got it caught in the propeller.
Did he ever stick his right hand out?
Yeah, and Mr. Garner shook it for 20 minutes.
Well, that's fine.
I said, George, why is it that I always get dizzy when I'm up in a plane?
Well, Ray, it's the altitude that affects you.
Well, then why is it I'm dizzy when I'm not in a plane?
Maybe you were born that way.
Maybe you're right, old man. I know I was born.
Well, that's something.
Because I remember the stork made 7 trips with me.
7 trips?
Yes, my parents kept rejecting me.
Well, they shouldn't have given up so easily, and cheerio.
Oh, cheerio.
Cheerio.
Oh, George, isn't that right, silly? You talk about one thing and he talks about something else.
But you're all right, huh?
Yes.
How about the speech?
Well, I didn't make that until I got to Washington.
Well, please get to Washington.
Coming to that. So the plane was going about 150 miles an hour, and we were flying upside down, and I said to Freddie...
Wait a minute. You were flying upside down?
Well, it was raining, and I didn't want to get my hat wet.
Well, that's fine. A $10 hat and a $90,000 plane.
So I said to Freddie, that's the pilot.
I know that's the pilot.
I said to him, I said, stop at the World's Fair for a second, and we landed in front of the Hall of Mirrors.
You stopped in front of the Hall of Mirrors?
Yes, my nose was shining.
Oh, nuts.
So then we took off again and finally landed in Washington.
And you said goodbye to Freddie?
Yeah, but by that time we were engaged.
Well, did he give you a ring?
No, he couldn't afford a ring, so he gave me the plane.
Well, wear it in good health.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
And when I got off the plane, there were a lot of photographers there.
What happened?
Well, I took their pictures.
What about the newspapermen?
I interviewed them, too.
Did they ask you anything?
Did they? They kept firing questions a mile a minute.
Well, what do they want to know?
Whether Myrna Law has really got red hair.
And did you tell them that Hetty Lamar has a 20-foot fence around her house?
Yeah, and they couldn't get over it.
Lots of things I can't get over, too.
Say, George, when Gracie goes to Washington and you're off the radio, don't worry.
Who's worrying?
Well, stop biting your nails and I'll tell you.
They're not my nails.
No.
No.
And they're not even his teeth.
No, quiet. I had to open my mouth.
I say, George, when Grace is elected, you'll be the first gentleman of the land.
Well, you don't know what that means to me.
And, George, as Postmaster General, I'll be glad to give you a job.
Thanks.
Why, you're practically one of the family. I'll make you a letter carrier.
A letter carrier?
Yes, brother, when she's president, you'll be left holding the bag.
Oh, yeah, I can always get a job. I could try and... Hey, Frank, what does a letter carrier pay?
Oh, $1,800 a year and all the stamps you can eat.
Oh, goody, a thing like that, Frank, will stick to a man's ribs.
Say, Gracie, you went to Washington and met Mrs. Roosevelt and other important people. We're all dying to hear about it.
Oh, I'm coming to that. So after we left the airport, I got into an official car and rode down Pennsylvania Avenue. And I was greeted by a man in a beautiful white uniform.
So?
So I bought a good humor from him, and I kept bowing and smiling. Oh, yes, and I kept bowing and smiling to all the people, and the Republicans kept throwing confetti out of the window.
Well, that's nice.
And the Democrats kept throwing it back.
Well. They wanted to keep the streets clean.
Yes.
George, the street cleaner job pays $1,300 a year.
Will you go away? Will you go?
You know, Gracie, I wish I were with you in Washington last week.
Oh, so do I.
Must have been thrilling. I'd have given anything to be there.
Really?
Oh, rather. I love good humor.
Gracie, did you ever arrive in Washington?
Oh, I certainly did. I finally got to the Willard Hotel where the banquet was being held. And who do you think I met at the door?
Who?
The Secretary of the Interior.
The Secretary of the Interior?
Yes, and we had a couple of X-ray pictures taken together.
Well, I hope you remember to smile, And here's Truman Bradley, who will show you how to beat a certain skin game. Take it, True.
Wash day is certainly hard on your hands. Harsh cleanses and hard water and raw wind when you're hanging things on the line certainly do make your skin look red and chapped. So for real comfort, keep a bottle of Heinz Honey and Almond Cream near the laundry tubs.
Oh, Truman, you don't have to sell me on Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. Remember, I'm Heinz Honey.
Thank you, Gracie.
Oh, I use it all the time with my strawberries.
Come on, Gracie.
Smooth Heinz all over your hands, arms, and wrists before you start and the minute you finish washing. Right away, good creamy Heinz soothes your tender skin. Heinz is really the quick comfort lotion. Extra creamy, extra softening, and it contains 2 vitamins, A and D. Every creamy drop of Heinz helps ease away that rough, sandpapery look, coaxes back a smoother, more comfortable feeling to your hands. You can get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream at any toilet goods counter. The big dollar size is economical for family use, while the 10, 25, or 50-cent size is handy for your laundry shelf. Remember Heinz, H-I-N-D-S, and use it faithfully for softer, prettier hands. Now, Frank Parker.
Thanks, True. Tonight I'm singing a song written by Harry Warren, a young chap who's made it a habit to write hits. Beautiful ballad entitled Summer Night.
Summer night, starry skies, you can see my sweetheart with 1,000 eyes. Why have I only two to behold 1,000 charms I idolize? Summer night, you arise, who come in her window when the day is through. She tells you all her thoughts in the fading candlelight. Summer night, oh how I envy you.
Why am I so jealous of the moon? Jealous of a summer night in June. Why can they remain beside my darling while I must leave so soon? Summer night, you arise, you come in her window when the day is through. She tells you all her thoughts in the fading candlelight. Summer night, oh how I envy
Oh, Frank, that was grand.
You're just saying that because you think I'm wonderful.
Well, Frank, you are wonderful.
Let's go steady.
Oh, go away.
Isn't Frank Parker cute?
Yes, it's a little dreamboat.
You know, he'll be the first Postmaster General with mail pouches under his eyes.
Well, never mind this talk. When you got to Washington, did you make a speech, or what did you say?
Yes, Gracie, get to the point, will you?
Oh, the speech.
Yes.
Well, I was sitting on the dais in this big banquet hall, and when Mrs. Roosevelt got through speaking...
Gracie, did you meet a lot of people?
Oh, everybody. And when she got...
Did you shake hands with them?
Well, certainly. And when she
Could
kept...
you tell which ones used Heinz honey and almond cream?
Oh, sure, all of them had lovely hands.
Truman, I finally got Gracie where she's telling about her speech and you're interrupting her.
Well, what are you getting excited about, George? How long can it take? I'm not talking about the dollar size. I'm only talking about the 10-cent bottle.
Oh, well, that's different. Gracie, what happened after Mrs. Eleanor Roosevelt's speech?
Well, they kept applauding and applauding and applauding, and there was nothing I could do but get up and talk.
What? They were applauding for her, so you got up and spoke?
Oh, sure, it was one of the biggest moments of my life. Well, if I hadn't been there myself, I wouldn't have believed it. Imagine me in Washington when the most important women in the country were gathered. There they were, hanging on to every word I said, and me trying to hang on to my salad. Oh, what a night. I'll never forget it. Why, it was wonderful. Just picture it. This is exactly what they said. Wasn't Eleanor Roosevelt charming when she made her speech? It's simply wonderful and so down to earth.
Look, Gracie Allen's getting up to make a speech.
Madam Chairman, members of the Women's National Press Club, Mrs. Roosevelt, and other honored guests. I hope you'll pardon me for reading my speech, but you see, I have to. Otherwise, how will I know when I'm through? Anyway, well, I'll just call you girls because I hardly know you well enough to call you ladies. So, girls, please don't expect me to tell you why I'll be the best president we ever had. There are too many obvious reasons why, and anyway, I'm too modest. It wouldn't be good to talk about politics either. I'm afraid you women couldn't agree with my opinions any more than you can with your own. And I certainly can't talk about the other candidates with so many of their wives here. There's no sense about talking about clothes because none of us can buy any till the campaign expenses are paid for. And as far as I'm concerned, I can't even charge them till I find out whether I'm going to be elected or working for a living. So I guess I'll just have to wind up talking about men and why they should be repealed. Now, don't think I'm counting the men, but it's time we had a woman president. Millions of people tell me that. Well, maybe not millions, but thousands, or anyway hundreds. At least my sister Bessie told me that. So what's my opinion against millions of people? So, of course, I won't be the first woman president. I'll be the first woman who's president officially. That's all. Now, we've been having unofficial women presidents ever since Martha Washington let George take all the credit. And in those days, there wasn't any Seattle to fly to, so she just ran a candy shop on the side. Where was I? Oh, yes. It's time we girls get together and go places. And why shouldn't we do our backseat driving from the front seat? Why are men the only ones who can get suits with 2 pairs of slacks? Because it's a man's world, that's why.
That's absolutely right.
Why, just the other day in Hollywood, a Scotchman he was in kilts and he got on a streetcar and an old lady in riding pants got up and gave him a seat. That's what this man's world is doing to us. But on the other hand, women will admit men aren't a total loss. Why shouldn't we? We're just as broad-minded as men, no matter how stubborn and narrow they are. Why, I'll be the first to give a man credit when he's done something really big, no matter how small it is. Even a man who gets to be president is surprised. His mother knows he'll be president before he's born, but he's never sure of it till he hears from Mr. Collins. And to show you this is a man's world, just before dinner, Mrs. Burton Wheeler was telling me about her husband. On top of all his campaign worries, his chickens are a big problem. She says Mr. Wheeler's rooster has been lying awake nights trying to figure a way to produce better eggs and more of them. Then in the daytime, the rooster is so tired, the hens have to wake him up to crow about the eggs that they have laid. But our day is coming, we hope. Women in all walks of life know what time it is, even if they're a little late in getting there. And you wives know what's going on, even if you can't prove it. And, oh, it would be wonderful if men and women could play 50-50. But how can they? Half the time the men think they're right. Now, why can't men and women be as friendly to each other as women are? Take 2 women. There you've got the most beautiful friendship in the world as soon as they find out they both hate the same girlfriend. And that friendship can't be broken till they find out they both like the same boyfriend. But I guess it's our own fault. We spoil men. Well, we shouldn't say men are just grown-up boys. It's bad for the men and very discouraging for the boys. On the other hand, how can you resist a man who does sweet, considerate little things for you? Like Mrs. Dewey told me about her husband. Only last month, while she was carrying his armchair over to the window, she dropped her handkerchief and he picked it up for her. Now, you know, it's things like that that make men worth living. So, in conclusion, girls, I can't actually promise that electing me will make men any better, but don't forget this. The most annoying thing about men is that they're so hard to catch. So, girls, with me in the White House, you'll at least know where to look for them. Thank you. So, you see, Judge, that's what happened.
Say, that was a good speech. How did they like it?
How did they like it? Well, I've never seen waitresses more excited.
Waitresses? What about those important women?
Oh, they'd gone home.
You mean you made the speech after they left?
Well, you know me, Judge. I'm strictly an after-dinner speaker.
Well, that's all I
Gracie, you wanted out here on the telephone. Omaha's calling.
You better hurry. It's a long distance.
Oh, no, it isn't. The phone is right out here in the hall. I'll be right back.
Did I hear correctly? Was that a call from Omaha?
Well, it might have been, George, but we thought we were playing Woods Could I But Kiss Thy Hand, O Babe.
And I thought it was Dipsy Doodle without the dips.
Oh, by the way, George, I may not be at rehearsal next Tuesday. You see, I'm taking swimming lessons.
Swimming lessons?
Yes. And you see, old boy, it'd be quite embarrassing for the Secretary of the Navy to be drowning all the time.
Well, don't worry about that, Ray. The fish will always throw you back.
Yes, and Ray, while you're down there, don't forget to call up Blue Point, 9908.
Who's that?
Minnie the Mermaid.
And if a man answers, it's Johnny Weissmuller.
You know, when Gracie's president goes out fishing, I'm going to supply her with a submarine.
What's that, to keep the sun out of her eyes?
No, that's so she can see whether the bait is still on the hook.
I wonder who could be calling Gracie in Omaha.
Me too, George. I'd give the 25-cent bottle to know.
Well, I said, George, can a person get vaccinated against seasickness?
Yeah, but only on his father's side.
Why, Ray, don't you know that seasickness is nothing to worry about? Well, you know what hiccups are.
Yes, Frank.
Well, it's the same thing with bumps.
Look, let's drop the whole thing and not even talk about the Navy.
You mean goodbye, Mr. Ships?
Yeah, goodbye. Secretary of the Navy tried taking swimming. Oh, Gracie, who phoned you from Omaha?
Oh, I was talking to Dan, and I said to
Dan?
him... Yes, and I said to him...
Who's Dan?
Dan Butler, mayor of Omaha. And I said to him...
The mayor of Omaha?
Well, sure, every city has a mayor, you know.
Oh, thanks.
And they want me to hold my surprise party convention there in May.
You mean to say the people from Omaha actually want you to hold a convention there?
That's what Dan Butler said.
Have the people going out of their minds?
Yes, but they'll be back in time for my convention.
St. Clair Lewis says it can't happen here.
Oh, it's going to be more fun. Union Pacific is going to have a special train for me. The mayor is having a special key to the city made for me. The businessmen are going to have torchlight parades for me. And the people will have street dances for me. Oh, there'll be about 300,000 visitors there to cheer for me. And my sister Bessie's going to be there.
Bessie?
Well, she's going to vote for me.
Well, then you can't lose.
Hello, Pris. Oh, hello, Bubbles. What's new since I've been gone?
Oh, nothing much. But when I was crossing Vine Street the other day, I was hit by a truck.
Hurt?
Yes, but they'll be able to get it fixed.
Well, that's a load off my mind. Come in.
Pardon me, is Miss Allen in?
I'm Miss Allen.
Oh, Miss Allen, I met you in Washington last week.
Oh, I remember you. Congressman Boone.
No.
Oh, Senator Hatch?
No.
Oh, well, I give up. Who are you?
The good humor man. You forgot your chain.
Oh, isn't he honest?
And she's running for president.
Say, Gracie, he's got pretty eyes.
Say, if you think his eyes are pretty, you should taste his orange sherbet.
Well, tell me about the banquet, Gracie. What were the candidates' wives wearing?
Well, I couldn't tell. They all had big signs in front of their dresses.
Signs?
Yes, saying, vote for my husband.
And, Gracie, what did you wear?
Well, it was very formal, so I wore that evening gown with the champagne stains.
With the champagne stain?
Yes.
What was it, Mums, 1928?
No, Bessie, 1395.
That's the beer barrel polka dot dress.
Yes.
Oh, it must have been a thrill meeting and talking to those famous women at the banquet.
Oh, it was. I had the nicest conversation with a congressman's wife, and she was telling me about her children, and I kept asking her to pass the salt.
Well, that was a smart piece of conversation.
Yeah, well, I had to ask her 6 times. Even those congressmen's wives won't pass anything.
Bubbles, I've got a little news for you. Gracie is holding her surprise party convention in Omaha.
I love Omaha. I lost 3 pounds there.
Is that so?
Is it definitely settled, Gracie, that we're going to Omaha?
Oh, sure, Ray.
Oh, then I'd better go home and start shaving.
Shaving? The convention isn't for 2 months. Is it going to take you that long to shave?
Or maybe longer, George. There's no blade in my razor, you see.
Oh. Well, you know that old saying, Ray. You can't get blade out of a turnip. Oh, how do you like that, Frank?
Anchor.
Anchor?
It sinks.
It does,
Say, Gracie, on that trip to Omaha, do you mind taking my mother-in-law?
Well, not at all, Truman.
But thanks. My wife and I'd like to be alone for a while.
We're not going to Omaha for 2 months, and everybody's getting ready.
So is Laura.
Who is Laura?
My kangaroo.
The kangaroo. The one you're using,
Party
emblem.
Yes,
I thought
that's
so.
right.
Don't tell me a kangaroo is going to Omaha with you.
Well, she's home right now packing her bag.
She is, huh?
George wants me to do my campaign song again on account of he sings the chorus in it. Vote for Gracie, vote for Gracie. She's the best little skipper in the land. Vote for Gracie, vote for Gracie. Won't you please give this little girl a hand at me? Even big politicians don't know what to do. Gracie doesn't know either, but neither do you. So vote for Gracie to win the presidential race. 100 million strong. That's right, you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie. Keep voting all day long.
Keep voting all day long. Keep voting all day long. Fill up the ballot box. Keep voting all day long. Gracie, Gracie, rock, rock, rock.
My friends, are you for Gracie? Well, thanks. Would you like to hear Frank Parker sing my song?
Ho, 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 Gracie. Oh, Figaro, Figaro. Oh, Gracie. It's awfully high, don't you know? I'm for Gracie. To lead the boys of Mary Chasey.
100 million strong.
That's right, you can't go so wrong. Vote for Gracie. Keep voting all day long. All right, George, here's what you've been waiting for.
Oh, vote for Gracie, so I can be by myself. Please vote for Gracie, so I'll be happy on the shelf. If she's elected, I'll be neglected. And I can stay home and play solitaire and keep that silly game out of my hair.
Vote for Gracie, vote for Gracie, vote for Gracie, vote for Gracie. Mrs. Hands are the softest in the land. Vote for Gracie, vote for Gracie, vote for Gracie, vote for Gracie.
Now let's have Truman Bradley take the stand.
Why don't you be like Gracie? Be fair to yourself. Keep Heinz Honey and Almond right there on your shelf.
Goodbye to Triumphant.
Let's get together now and tap in.
And for a thrill and do, we'll tell you what to do. Vote for Gracie, and she'll shake hands with you. Vote for Gracie, yes, yes. Vote for Gracie, yes, yes.
If the country's going Gracie, so can you.
Hey! Vote, 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 vote.
Uncle Sam, let me paddle your canoe. I'm just like Joan of Arc, I hear destiny call. It's the call to the ballpark to throw out the ball.
Vote for Gracie, to win the presidential race. 100 million strong, that's right, you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie.
Isn't it thrilling?
Keep voting all day long.
Would you like a copy of Gracie's campaign song, Vote for Gracie? Yes, I mean the actual sheet music, complete with lyrics and verses. Well, here's how you can get a copy of this song. Just write your name and address on the back of a Heinz Honey and Almond Cream carton. The 25, 50-cent, or dollar-size carton, or 2 10-cent size cartons, and mail it to Gracie Allen, Hollywood, California. That's all. Then in a few days, you'll receive your copy of Gracie's campaign song, Vote for Gracie. Oh, I almost forgot. This sheet music has a swell picture of Gracie on the cover, too, which shows how sweet and lovable Gracie really is in person. You can get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream at any toilet goods counter. You'll find every creamy drop of this quick comfort lotion helps ease away that rough sandpapery look, coaxes back a smoother, more comfortable feeling to your hands. So get a bottle of Heinz tonight and use it faithfully for softer, prettier hands. And remember, write your name and address on the back of the carton and send it to Gracie Allen, Hollywood, and you'll get your own copy of Gracie's great campaign song, Vote for Gracie.
Thanks, Truman. Well, Gracie, say good night.
Well, good night. And when I'm in the White House, you're all invited to come and have tea with me. But don't forget to bring your own lemon as I'm cutting down on the budget, you know.
Good night.
Have you tried the new hand cream in jars, made by the makers of the famous Heinz Honey and Almond Cream? Just like the creamy Heinz, which you know so well, the new Heinz Hand Cream is a quick softener for rough hands. It's fragrant, too, and not a bit sticky. Makes hands lovely.
Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. She's the best little skipper in the land.
Next Wednesday at this same time over these same stations, George and Gracie and all the rest of us will be back again, don't forget. And don't forget, for honeymoon hands, it's Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Hello, my friends, the Heinz Honey and Almond Cream program.
Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie.
Starring George Burns and Gracie Allen with Frank Parker, Ray Noble and his orchestra, and Truman Bradley speaking.
100 million strong, that's right, you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie. Keep voting all day long.
Bring you George Burns and our little candidate who has a song in her heart and a kangaroo in a dressing room, Heinz Honey, Gracie Allen.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Hello.
Well, Gracie, how's your campaign coming along?
Oh, it's been keeping me so busy, I haven't had time to think about it.
The campaign's been keeping you so busy, huh?
Well, no, the trouble at home. The maid walked in last night and caught my aunt kissing my uncle.
The maid caught your uncle kissing your aunt?
Yeah, it was her day off. They didn't expect her home so soon.
Well, what happened?
What happened? The maid said to my aunt, one of us will have to go.
So?
So the maid left.
Well, good.
And my uncle left with her.
Your uncle left with her?
Yeah, well, what did he have to lose? It was downhill anyway.
What did your aunt do?
Oh, what could she do? She went to see a picture with the butler.
With the butler?
Well, you see, the gardener had already seen the picture.
Look, while this was going on, what was the chauffeur doing?
Oh, he was in Reno getting a divorce from the maid.
Nice little family you got there.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Frank.
Hello, Pinky. Oh, I'll never forget how my uncle met my aunt. She went in Bullock's to buy a girdle, and he sold her a lawnmower.
Must have been a beautiful romance.
Oh, it was love at first sight. She had never seen a lawnmower before.
Well, those things are pretty rare.
Yes.
But did she ever buy the girdle?
Oh, of course. And when she wears it, she's got a lot of class.
She has, huh?
Yeah, it sticks out all over her.
Yeah, she's probably got her a good point.
Yeah. That's a good judge.
Like it, huh?
Say, Gracie, when you're elected and I'm Postmaster General, I've got a great idea to simplify the postal service.
You have?
Sure, I'm going to put my picture on all the stamps.
That'll make telegrams very popular.
You see? Then by the expression on my face, you'll be able to tell what's in the letter before you open it.
Oh, well, give me a for instance.
Yeah, give her a for instance.
Well, now, look, if the stamp shows a picture of me smiling, it's a love letter. And if I'm crying, it's a bill. If it shows me winking, I met a new girl. And if it shows me with both eyes closed, I met a husband.
You know, Frank, my fit... Pardon me. Hello?
Gesundheit.
Well, thanks.
Say, that stamp idea is great, Frank. Suppose I want to write a letter and tell people how to make rough red hands soft, smooth, and white. What would I use?
A 2-cent stamp.
I'd use Heinz Honey and Almond Cream.
Yeah. You know, I'd give my right arm to have somebody say something sensible on this program.
George, old man, would you give your left arm?
Why my left arm?
I've got a right arm.
You had a head. You could scratch it.
Maybe we're better off talking about my aunt and uncle, huh?
Gracie, will you stop with your aunt and uncle?
Well, I can't. They're stopping with us.
Well, we're back, folks.
Oh, but I'll never forget their honeymoon. They went to Niagara Falls and stopped at this lovely hotel. And after a wonderful champagne dinner or two, at about 11 o'clock, after everybody was asleep, my uncle went over the falls in a barrel.
Gracie, that uncle that went over the falls in a barrel, is that on your father's side?
No, it was on the Canadian side.
And you're a little on the nutty side.
Oh, George.
Oh, yeah.
I say, Gracie, I've been reading a lot about these pocket battleships, and as Secretary of the Navy, I think they're absolutely absurd.
Why, Ray?
Well, I think it's jolly difficult for a sailor to swim with a battleship in his pocket.
Well, Ray, you can always put a zipper on it, and it won't fall out.
That's right.
There's an idea.
Yeah. Oh, and when the fleet is out at sea, I'm going to put Venetian blinds on the portholes.
Venetian blinds, huh?
Yes, those peeping toms are quite annoying, old boy.
Say, Ray, why don't you have my party emblem, the kangaroo, tattooed on all the sailors' chests?
I say, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, then they can keep their tobacco in the pouch.
Say, a thing like that, kangaroo, up to be a fad.
How
do you like that, Frank?
Curly hair.
Curly hair?
It kinks.
It does,
And Ray, when you're Secretary of the Navy, I'm going to make my uncle your first assistant sailor.
First assistant sailor?
Well, why not? His middle name is Yacht.
Yacht, that's a pretty name.
Well, we only call him Yacht for short. His whole name is Idiot.
Oh, Idiot. That's the one that eloped with the maid.
Yes.
Gracie, we can't allow your uncle on my ship if he has that maid with him. It's against naval regulations.
Well, what do you want me to do, Ray?
Just send the maid down alone.
Oh.
Gracie, stop giving out jobs. You know nothing about politics.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. What would you do if a senator tried to filibuster?
Well, I'd give him bicarbonate soda.
Well, I'm sorry I brought it up. President, you don't even know what the amendments are.
Yeah? Which one?
Anyone. The 14th.
You mean the one about not abridging citizenship rights?
Well, is that the...
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, well, the gist of that amendment is, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States.
Well.
Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law.
That's amazing.
Nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the laws, Proposed June 13th, 1868. Adopted July 21st, 1868. Ratified by July 28th, 1868.
Oh, Gracie, how did you happen to know all of that?
Oh, I just took a wild guess.
A wild guess,
If your hands are chapped and sandpapery from all this raw, stinging March wind, then here's a smart tip. Keep a bottle of Heinz Honey and Almond Cream in your coat closet. Smooth Heinz on your hands and face always before you go outdoors and again when you come inside. Heinz is a grand help against chapping. It's extra creamy, extra softening, and contains 2 vitamins, A and D. Every creamy drop of Heinz feels good and soothing to tender skin. And that reminds me, you know how hard children work at their play. They get outdoors these days to roller skate or play games. And their tender little hands and knees get so rough and chapped. See that they smooth Heinz on face, hands, and knees to help keep their skin smooth and comfortable. Men enjoy Heinz as an after-shaving lotion, too. It works swell with electric shavers. Not sticky, just feels soothing and refreshing to sensitive skin. You can get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream at the nearest toilet goods counter. It comes in 10, 25, 50 cent, and dollar sizes. Start using Heinz Honey and Almond Cream tonight for softer, smoother skin. Now, Frank Parker.
Thanks, Drew. From the musical play Walk a Little Faster, we find a typical topical song entitled April in Paris by Vernon Duke.
April in Paris, chestnuts in blossom, holiday tables under the tree. April in Paris, this is a feeling no one can ever recreate. I'm there under the calm of spring, never met it face to face. I never knew my heart could sing, never missed a warm embrace. Till April in Paris, whom can I run to? What have you done to my heart? Love is in the air, life's a love affair, and every pair of arms a rendezvous. I never knew the calm of spring, never met it face to face. I never knew my heart could sing, never missed a warm embrace. Till April in Paris, whom can I run to? What have you done to my
Well, Frank, that was grand. I never heard you in better voice. Well, nice of you to say that. But you know, you seem to be getting better each week. Really, do you mean it? Well, if I didn't mean it, I wouldn't say it.
Frank, you're talking to yourself.
Well, it's the only way I can get an intelligent answer on this program.
You know, you're certainly stuck on you, and I do mean glue.
Mm-hmm. The feeling is mucilage.
Oh, get out of there.
Oh, I'll take it.
Take it, Gracie.
Hello. This is Fine Sunny, also known as Gracie Allen, presidential candidate on surprise party ticket holders in our convention in Omaha, May 15, 16, 17, 18. Who's calling, please? Oh, just a minute. I'll see if she's in. Gracie, it's for you.
You're Gracie.
Oh, I am.
See what you started, Frank?
Hello? Who? Oh, hello, Andy. I didn't recognize my voice. What? What? Talk louder. Where are you talking from? Well, you better go in the other room where the phone is. George, my aunt is so very silly.
You'd never know it.
Hello? Oh, hello, Andy. That's much better. Our uncle and the maid back? Oh, you are. Oh, that's good. That's bad. That's good. No, that's bad. That's bad. That's good. That's bad. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's bad.
Gracie! What's going on there?
Oh, my aunt is sorting a box of strawberries. That's good.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Give me that phone. Goodbye. I wish your relatives would stop calling.
Oh, hello, Bubbles.
Hello, Bubba.
Oh, hello. How do you feel, Mr. Burns?
Well, how do I look?
Maybe it's something you ate.
Oh, yeah? Well, I feel just as young as Georgie just left.
Say, that's right. I read that. Say, is it true that Jess was going to marry a 15-year-old girl?
Said so in the papers.
Oh, maybe he's marrying her for her money?
Yeah. Either that or she's a swell cook.
Yes. Say, Frank, did you know they're each bringing a school chum to act as best man and maid of honor?
Really?
Yeah, she's bringing Shirley Temple and he's bringing George Alice.
Yes. And if, you know, I'll tell you something. If she marries Jessel, she couldn't marry a nicer fellow.
Well, you're perfectly right. You know, he proposed to me about 32 years ago.
Really? What did you say?
Da-da.
I saw a picture in the paper, and she's certainly a beautiful young girl.
Oh, she certainly is. And you know, she comes from a very young family. Her grandmother's only 19.
19?
And her father isn't born yet.
Isn't born yet?
That's what it said in the New York papers. They're expecting him to arrive any day now.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Kildare keeps telling them down at the office.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the papers are so upset about. When she's 92, he'll only be 147.
Well, that's nice. Then they can grow old together.
Now, you take my drummer. When he was 55, he married a girl of 14.
How did that happen?
Jessel was out of town.
Probably playing Lowe's Afghanistan.
George, we'll have to send the bride and groom a nice present.
Yeah, something they can both use.
Yeah. How about a lollipop with a cigar on the other end?
Well, I don't know. The difference between 50 and 40 is only 25. That's not so much.
No.
If it is, George, you can always get the 10-cent size.
That's, well, who said that?
Or if that's too little, get the 50-cent size. And then, of course, there's always the dollar size.
Of what?
You know, that soothing stuff that you can get at all toilet goods counters.
Yeah, but what is it?
You know, it comes in bottles.
Yeah, but what is it?
Oh, George, you made me say it. Heinz, honey, and almond.
Yeah, I forced you.
Say, Gracie, do you know that 25,000 members of the Whiskerina Club in Omaha have passed a rule that all men have got to have whiskers to come to your convention?
25,000 sets of whiskers?
Oh, that ought to sweep me into office.
I don't like the idea of a beard, but it might grow on me.
Oh, George, that's a scream.
Yes, I'm another Boris Karloff.
You know, George, a beard would be very becoming to you.
Well, thanks.
You look like a Nairdale peeping through a hedge.
What's the matter with my face?
George, do you shave yourself?
Certainly.
Do you ever cut yourself?
No.
Isn't it a temptation?
Gracie, I still can't see why we have to all have beards to go to your convention.
Oh, that's my slogan. Vote for Gracie and see America Fuzz.
America Fuzz.
And Gracie, you know, your campaign mail is pouring in. Now, here's a letter from the engineers of the Colorado State College at Fort Collins. And at their annual banquet on March 23rd, they endorsed you for president.
Oh, am I honored?
And Indiana University has also endorsed you.
Oh, am I thrilled?
And the Miami University in Florida has endorsed you.
Am I pale?
Pale?
Yeah, from being indoors too much.
Well, how do you like that, Frank?
Garbo's feet.
Garbo's feet?
Plenty of stock.
Well, I certainly put my foot in that.
Oh, George.
Yes, I'm the devil.
This is wonderful. 4,000 students at San Jose State College are holding a Gracie Allen Ball on March 29th.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? I'll be able to dance 4,000 times.
You mean you're going to dance with 4,000 college boys?
Sure.
Isn't that pretty strenuous?
Well, not as strenuous as sitting them out, if you know what I mean.
I think I know what you mean.
Gracie, in raising this beard for your convention now, how often do I have to water it?
Well, a convention should be watered once a month.
Well, that's a nice piece of dialogue.
Well, Gracie, I'll raise half a bid, and if the people in Omaha like it, well, I'll raise the other half.
Yes.
Well, that's fair
Do that
enough.
and go and talk to Orson Welles.
And Gracie, did you know that the Delta chapter of the Phi Kappa Sigma at Washington and Jefferson College is nominating you for president April 27th at their quadrennial convention?
At their quadrennial convention? Isn't that wonderful? I didn't even know quadrennials were in season.
Gracie, do you know what quadrennial means?
Quadrennials, let's see. It's,
How do you spell quadrennial?
very poorly.
That's
It's a sort of, bluish white, more like a green.
Sort of like a circle.
Yeah, and the more you shave it, the longer it grows, and the longer it grows, the shorter it gets, and the shorter it gets, the longer
Come on,
quadrennial.
Gracie. That was simply grand, you know.
The newspapers all over the country are waiting for your party platform.
Oh, yes, I was working on it last night, and I'll read what I've written. The text of the surprise party platform is outlined by candidate Gracie Allen. Plank number 1, unemployment and where to get it.
Unemployment and where to get it?
No, please, Judge, I thought of it first.
Yes, that's yours.
Under my administration, the government will give free correspondence courses so that people who can't find jobs in their own line will soon be without jobs in 3 or 4 different types of work.
Well, that's nice work if you can't get it.
For instance,
yes.
I'll teach people to milk cows by mail.
By mail?
How to raise mushrooms under twin beds.
Oh, that's amazing.
How to get good bridge hands when it's your deal.
Well, you must be elected.
200 things to do with an old toupee, and so forth.
Well, that's not a platform, that's a laundry chute.
Now, George, I'm reading.
Oh, yes.
I'll even give a home course in barbering if I can get Montana to cooperate.
Well, I'll talk to him.
My plan is to send each student barber a live sheep and a razor.
That's a lovely plan.
Then when he's learned to shave the sheep, he can write his own diploma on the sheep's back.
Where does he learn to write?
No, please.
Oh, you're coming to that.
This is better than having a sheepskin in a picture frame, because with a live sheep hanging on his wall, a barber will have something to wipe his hands on.
Well, that's not bad.
Now, prank number 2.
Yes.
It's based on a moral.
A moral.
Moral. To prevent wrinkles, hang your face up at night. You don't wear your pants to bed, do you?
That's just what this country needs.
Of course. And it's covered under this heading. My plan for sociable security.
Sociable security?
Yes. To be secure sociably, stay away from society.
Say, that's good.
It's terrific.
Dinner parties are getting so ritzy that even if you find the right soup spoon, you're still puzzled. You don't know which fork to pick it up with.
That's why they put pencils on the end of a raisin.
George, do you want to hear this or don't you?
I don't.
Well, then listen. There are more rules of etiquette than traffic laws. For instance, if a gentleman is lying under a table in a nightclub, should he rise if a lady comes in?
No, just tip his ice bag.
And
say, how do?
Yes.
Yes.
And,
how do?
Yes. George, and what should a girl do after a gentleman brings her home from a cafe? Should she ask him in to meet her husband?
Well, should she?
Well, that's the Republicans' answer that.
Gracie, I'd like to ask you one thing. What does your surprise party stand for?
Well, because it would look silly lying down.
Well,
Prank number 3.
You know, I don't think Social Security is any problem at all. All you have to do is have trousers come with 2 pairs of suspenders.
Yeah, and that could hold up the budget at the same time.
Now, Gracie, in your platform, aren't you going to say anything about finances?
Finances, I certainly am. I think every girl should have one.
One? Frank Parker has 3.
I have 4.
4 sweethearts? Who are they?
Don Wilson.
Yeah, that male quartet with 6 delicious flavors.
And now for prank number 3, which is also based on a moral.
What's the idea of all these morals?
Well, they're mostly to fill the cracks between the planks.
So that it matches your head. Thought so, yes. Just a minute, I'll take it. Hello.
Hello, you remember me, Charlie Henderson, the fellow who wrote the campaign song?
Oh, yes. Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Mr. Henderson.
You're Mr. Henderson, and what is it you want?
I want to talk to Charlie.
Look, I'm George Burns.
Oh, wait, I'll see if he's in.
Here, Gracie, you talk to him. I'm going nuts.
Oh, hello, Charlie.
Hello, Gracie. Well, look, I'll be a trifle late. On my way to meet you, I got on a one-way street, and it took me a little out of my way.
Well, where are you?
In Salt Lake City.
Well, don't worry. Instead of an 8:30 dinner, we'll make it 8:45. Goodbye.
Bye.
He came down to meet you here, and he's in Salt Lake City?
Well, you see, he washed his car this morning. He can't do a thing with it.
Well, he ought to trade it in for a rattle.
Prank number 3. Bigger figures for small businessmen.
Bigger figures for small businessmen. That's to keep their bustles out of the red, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Chicken in every pot is fine if you're not the chicken.
I see.
But what this country needs is a pretty girl on every lap.
Say, you've got something there.
Sure, idle knees are the root of all evil.
Idle knees.
Prank number 4.
Hello, Gracie.
Oh, hello, Charlie.
Do you mean to say you came all the way from Salt Lake City in 2 minutes?
I would have been here sooner, only I had an accident.
An accident?
I went through the windshield.
Attaboy.
Please, don't pat me on the back. My head keeps falling off.
Well, I've had enough of this.
Prank number 4. Immortality.
And I've had enough of that, too. I've enough of these things.
Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. She's the best little skipper in the land. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Won't you please give this little girl a hand? Even big politicians don't know what to do. Gracie doesn't know either, but neither do you. So vote for Gracie to win the presidential race. 100 million strong. That's right, you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie. Keep voting all day long. Now, when I'm down in Washington, if there's anything that you want done, just tell me all about it now, and you'll get it done. And how? Clap hands. Here comes Parker. Clap hands. Here comes Parker.
When I watch mail go down the chute, I will need a vocal substitute. So tell whomever it concerns to hereby delegate to Georgie Burns.
Clap hands. Here comes Noble. Clap hands.
comes trouble.
I've been thinking for some time that Congress ought to talk in rhyme. It seems quite silly, I suppose, but I get awfully bored with prose.
Clap hands,
Here comes bubble.
clap hands.
Here comes bubble.
Now listen, and I'll state my case. The thing that I need most is space. Instead of good 5-cent cigars, I want wider Pullman cars. Clap hands.
Here comes Granny.
Clap hands.
Here comes Granny.
Tell those folks down in Washington that washing dishes isn't fun. But still your hands can be a dream. Just use Heinz honey and almond cream.
Clap hands.
Here comes Johnny.
Clap hands.
Here comes Johnny.
Now, I don't like to be a pest, but I have just one small request. If you should entertain a king, I want the king to hear me sing, oh, ain't misbehaving all by myself. Ain't misbehaving.
Vote for Gracie, yes, yes. Vote for Gracie, yes, yes.
She's the best little bet you've ever had.
Hey! Vote, 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 vote.
If you grow gray with Gracie, you'll be glad. Oh, and speaking of gray, have you heard that it's true? Gracie favors the red and the white and the blue.
So vote for Gracie to win the presidential races.
100 million strong, that's right, you can't go wrong. Vote for Gracie. See you at the White House. Keep voting all day long.
Send for your copy of Gracie's campaign song, Vote for Gracie, a song the whole country is humming. You get the sheet music, including the words of Vote for Gracie. The tune and the verses are grand for those evenings of fun around the piano. Just write your name and address on the back of a Heinz honey and almond cream carton, the 25, 50-cent, or dollar size, or send 2 10-cent Heinz cartons to Gracie Allen, Hollywood, California. In a few days, you receive your copy of Gracie's campaign song, Vote for Gracie. There's a picture of Gracie on the cover, too, and let me tell you she's a honey. Now act quickly. This offer is for a short time only. Send your name and address tonight on a Heinz carton. Mail your envelope to Gracie Allen, Hollywood, California, and use your Heinz honey and almond cream every day to help keep your hands soft and pretty in spite of housework. Heinz is extra creamy, extra softening, and contains 2 vitamins A and D. Every drop of this creamy emulsion goes right to work easing away that dry, rough, chapped look, helping your hands to stay soft, sweet, and kissable. You can get Heinz honey and almond cream at the nearest toilet goods counter. Treat your hands to the soothing comfort of Heinz tonight, and send a Heinz carton for your copy of Gracie's campaign song now while the getting is good. Address your carton to Gracie Allen, Hollywood, California.
Good night.
Good night.
Want a good hand cream? Try the new Heinz hand cream in jars. It's made by the makers of Heinz honey and almond cream. And like this famous creamy lotion, Heinz hand cream is quick softening for chapped, rough hands. In 2 sizes, 10 cents and 39 cents each at toilet goods counters. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Hello, my friends. The Heinz honey and almond cream program.
Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie.
Starring George Burns and Heinz honey, Gracie Allen, with Frank Parker, Ray Noble and his orchestra, and Truman Bradley speaking.
100 million strong, that's right, you can't go wrong.
Vote for Gracie. Keep voting all day long.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
How's your campaign coming along?
Oh, fine. Only I've been getting a little impatient with Congress.
Impatient with Congress?
Yeah, when did they come off passing a law that you can only spend $3 million for your campaign fund?
Oh, yes. I saw that on the front page this morning.
Did you see the second page?
Uh-huh.
How did Dick Tracy make out?
He escaped again.
Oh, good.
Yes.
$3 million for a campaign fund. Well, where can you go on that? Why, they spend more than that to run the government.
Gracie, stop worrying. The Republicans and the Democrats are limited to $3 million, too.
Yeah, but does Jim Farley have to spend $17 for a permanent?
Well, I wouldn't know.
And does Mr. Garner have to pay $10 for a snoot?
Well, you've got me. You've got me.
And does John L. Lewis have to spend $3 to have his eyebrows plucked?
Well, you've got me. I really would.
Do you know what's wrong with this program?
You've got me.
You guessed it.
You were tricked in. I was tricked into that.
Well, $3 million, Gracie, is enough to run any campaign.
Oh, yeah? Why, the last convention I went to, I wasn't even running, and it cost me $10,000 for tips.
$10,000 for tips?
Well, it was a Shriners convention, and I thought they were red caps.
Well, I'll bet were their fezzes red.
I'll bet.
And a badge or two.
Say, Gracie, exactly how much money have you got in this campaign fund of yours?
Oh, I've been getting checks from all over the country.
Really? How much have you got?
Oh, let me see now. 8 from Boston, 15 from Chicago.
Well, how much have you got altogether?
And 10 from Omaha, 18 from Philadelphia, 1 from East Philadelphia.
How much have you got, Gracie?
30 from New York, none from Brooklyn, and 3 from Akron.
How much have you got?
Well, altogether, I've got about 190 checks.
Well, that's a lot of money.
Oh, well, it would even be more if they were signed.
What good are unsigned checks?
Oh, they'll be signed.
They will, huh?
Oh, my brother's home working on them right now.
You haven't got a dime and you're upset about millions.
Oh, well, sure I'm upset. The government says that they'll allow you $3 million for a campaign fund, and so far they haven't sent me a nickel.
Gracie, I'll explain it.
So you'll understand it.
Yes. When they say that they allow you $3 million, they don't mean that they allow you $3 million. They mean you're allowed to have it if you have $3 million.
You feel all right, Daddy?
Quiet, Parker.
Hello, Pinky.
Hello. Say, Prez, I saw you at the Hollywood ballpark the other day, throwing out the first ball.
Oh, did you?
Yes, Gracie, I heard you opened the Pacific Coast season.
Oh, yeah, and was I excited.
Really?
There I was with a hamburger in one hand and a baseball in the other, and I didn't know which one to throw.
Well, what'd you do?
Oh, what did I do? What could I do? After I'd eaten the baseball, I had to throw out the hamburger.
Tell me, was the catcher mad?
Oh, was he? He held the game up for 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Well, yes, it's hard to eat a hamburger through a mat.
Oh, yes. Those things get in your eyes.
Yes. Did you enjoy the game, Frank?
Oh, yes, I had a swell seat. Johnny Weissmuller couldn't go, so he gave me his seat.
Oh, where was it?
Up in a tree.
Must have been very uncomfortable.
No, I was sitting on a bird's nest.
Sitting on a bird's nest?
Yeah, one of them bit me in the second inning.
Oh, George.
Joe, the bird died.
George, there certainly were a lot of celebrities at the ball game. Robert Taylor was in a box, and George Raft was in another box, and I had the box of honor.
Box of honor?
Yeah, it was full of Cracker Jacks.
Full of Cracker Jacks? It's the kind that have those little prizes in them.
Yes, one had a little tin whistle, and oh, it was delicious.
Delicious?
You said it.
Oh, You can also whistle for your campaign fund, too.
Oh, don't worry about me. I'll get the $3 million, even if I have to accept it from strangers.
Strangers, eh?
Gracie, it's very simple. Just go to one of those loan companies that advertise on the radio. They'll loan you $3 million and no questions asked.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I wonder how much interest they'll pay me.
Well, my trumpet player is thinking of going down there to get some money.
Well, maybe he's got collateral.
No, he's got asthma, but you can't hear it when he's playing trumpet.
Well, on him it looks good.
Maybe I can get my campaign money from your fans, George.
$3 million from my fans?
Well, that's not very much. It's only $1 million apiece.
And I thought I had 4 fans.
You lost one. Singing Ain't Misbehaving, remember?
I'll say it again.
Say, Gracie, I'll tell you how to raise the money for your campaign fund. You know, when you use the dollar bottle of Heinz Honey and Almond Cream, you save a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
So you get 10 million people in your party using it, and at the end of the week, you know what you've got?
What?
Soft
white
hands.
I thought so, yeah. I don't know about your party, but it'll certainly keep your hands out of the red.
Thank you.
Thank you.
George, did you know that Sally Rand is campaigning for me?
Sally Rand?
Well, you should have heard her the other night making a speech. She got up and she says, "My fans, and you are my fans."
Oh, your fans? Yes.
Yes.
Well, that covers everything.
Well, doesn't it?
Gracie. I say, Gracie, if you went around barefooted, you wouldn't have all these financial troubles.
Barefooted?
Oh, rather. I read where John D. Rockefeller started out as a barefoot boy, and he wound up with hundreds of millions.
Yes. But he had a few oil projects on the side.
Well, with all that money, he could have gone to the doctor and had them removed.
Probably wouldn't hurt a bit.
Well, anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. If I can't get $3 million for my campaign fund, I'll just have to get along on $2.5 million.
Yeah, just rough it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Say, Gracie, when you get to the White House, what are you going to do with your family?
Well, my little nephew can stay in the Library of Congress, and my uncle will live at the Smithsonian Institute,
Nice lady.
and, I know my brother will just love the Mint, and my sister...
Your uncle in the Smithsonian
Yes, and my sister...
That's a museum.
Well, that'll be a nice change for my uncle. You see, for the past 7 years, he's been living in a broom closet.
In a broom closet?
Yeah, but 3 years ago, he came out to make a personal appearance on We the People.
I see. And went right back into the broom closet. Yes.
You know, a very funny thing happened to me in Washington. I went to a very swanky affair, and I had one of those red, green, and yellow diplomatic sashes across my chest, and they kept calling on me to make a speech.
Well, why didn't you make a speech?
Because I'm not a diplomat.
Well, then why didn't you take off the sash?
I couldn't. It was holding up my pants.
Yes, and it wouldn't look very nice for a diplomat to be without his portfolio.
Oh, my uncle it would.
Oh, yes, the one that lives in the broom closet.
Yeah, with the vacuum cleaner.
With a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, he's a Hoover man.
Oh, he is.
Well, can you beat that? They say some of the new Paris dresses have skirts padded with cushions of horsehair. Well, I hope they're not as scratchy as those old-fashioned horsehair sofas. Horsehair furniture feels like chapped sandpapery hands, so rasping and unpleasant to touch. Now, if your hands are rough and chapped this minute, be sure to use Heinz Honey and Almond Cream before you go to bed tonight. Heinz is extra creamy, extra softening, and contains 2 vitamins, A and D. Every drop of this grand creamy emulsion helps coax a beautiful smoothness back to your poor chapped hands. Thousands of women who use Heinz regularly boast about having soft, smooth hands in spite of doing their own housework. Heinz is good for children's hands and faces and legs, too. Their tender skin gets chapped so easily, in raw wind. So give their hands the creamy comfort of Heinz the moment they come indoors. You can get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream at the nearest toilet goods counter in 10, 25, 50-cent, and dollar sizes. Remember, it's Heinz, spelled H-I-N-D-S, for softer, smoother hands. Now, Frank Parker.
Thanks, Drew. Tonight I'm going to sing a song that's an oldie, but a goodie. Back in 1931, Gus Arnheim wrote a beautiful song entitled Sweet and Lovely. Remember? There's sweetness in the call of the woodland dove as his love song echoes through the trees. There's sweetness in the rose with its symbol of love floating on a summer breeze. But nothing can compare to the sweetness of the one and only one I love. Sweet and lovely, sweeter than the roses in May. Sweet and lovely, heaven must have sent her my way. Skies above me never were as blue as her eyes, and she loves me. Who would want a sweeter surprise? When she nestles in my arms so tenderly, there's a thrill that words cannot express. In my heart a song of love is haunting me. Melody haunting me. Sweet and lovely, sweeter than the roses in May. And she loves me. There is nothing more I can That number was for Sam and Edna, for Harriet, Elsie, and Joe, for Mabel, Becky, and Agnes, for little Mickey O'Toole, who'll be 2 years old next February, and for the girls in the pool room.
You, too, can have a new spring outfit like Smiling Frankie Parker is wearing. Complete with hat, suit, overcoat, shoes, 3 pairs of socks, double-breasted undershirt and watch, all for $3.85. Yes, sir.
George.
Yeah?
George, who's the man Gracie's talking to over there?
I don't know. She's probably trying to get $3 million for a campaign fund.
Hey, it sounds like that, doesn't it?
Well, Miss Allen, I don't think I'll have any trouble raising it. I've raised it before, and I don't see why I can't do it again.
Well, how long do you think it'll take?
Well, it all depends on a lot of things. I'll go out and start working on it right now.
Oh, good. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll raise it.
That's right.
Gracie, who's that?
The elevator boy. His elevator's stuck in the basement.
So was your campaign.
Say, Gracie, I typed that speech for you.
Thanks, Bubbles.
But you know, I had a little trouble with the typewriter. Some of the O's are upside down.
What speech?
And you'll notice, Gracie, I've got farmers in caps.
Farmers in caps? Well, I always thought they wore straw hats.
Look, don't tell me that you're going to make a speech.
Just to the farmers.
Dewey and Garner made a speech to the farmers last week.
Oh, copycats.
Yeah, they stole the stuff you haven't done yet.
Now for my speech. Farmers, farmers' wives, and Sammy Cohn.
Sammy Cohen?
Yeah. Oh, pardon me, it's semicolon.
Semicolon. That little dark fella.
Yeah, I'll start again. Farmers, farmers' wives, farmers' sons, farmers' daughters, hired hands and tractor salesmen.
What about the boys in the back room?
See what they'll have.
Truman, see what they'll have.
My subject tonight is the care and feeding of farmers and how to cook it.
How to cook it?
My opponents have said that they're going to fight me until the cows come home. Oh, so they admit the cows aren't home. Oh, why aren't the cows home? Because they don't like conditions on the farm. The cows are smart. They're not coming home until there's a woman in the White House.
I see. Well, how do you, Gracie, what I'd like to know is how do you know what the cows think about?
Bubbles tells me everything.
Oh, go ahead. Go right ahead.
So, if you farmers want contented cows, have your wives knit each cow a glove. And in that way, my friend...
one glove for each cow?
Well, sure, so that when the cow isn't being milked, it can keep its fingers warm.
I guess you figured that out for yourself. Oh. How do you like that, Frank?
Cocktails for two.
Cocktails for two?
Yeah, it's drinks.
It does,
So, my friend...
Gracie, when you're through, can my drummer have a copy of your speech? He's a farmer, you know.
Why doesn't he listen to it?
Oh, he can't right now. He's reading Rebecca.
Well, have him read it out loud. It'll help the farmers more than the speech.
Oh, right.
So, my friends, what the American farm needs is the touch of a woman's hand. Therefore, I say the hand that rocks the cradle should pull the plow.
That's what you say.
Yes. Friends, it's women who have made history. You said it.
Yes.
When Romeo drank the poison, who got the nickel back on the bottle?
Jack Bennett?
No.
I'm wrong.
No. After Julius Caesar was stabbed, who darned up the holes in his sweater?
Mary Livingston.
No.
I'm wrong again.
When Paris gave Helen of Troy a wooden horse, who put $2 on its nose?
Bing Crosby.
No.
Wrong again.
When Napoleon was losing at Waterloo, who was Josephine playing rummy with?
Well, who?
Oh, don't ask me. Write to your congressman.
I say. Well, what are you trying to prove? That women should run the farm?
Well, the least they could do is have scarecrows wear dresses instead of pants.
Well, that's a nice compromise.
Oh, thanks. I got it at Bullock.
Oh, and it's pretty, too, yeah.
Say, Gracie, I think you're overlooking a big point. What the farmers need most is water.
Bubbles, make a note of that.
All right.
Have you forgotten what Secretary of Agriculture Wallace said when he addressed the farmers during the drought?
Oh, what did he say?
Greetings, Gate. Let's irrigate.
That's what Yehudi keeps telling him down at the office when he ain't neat.
So, my friends, I could point out several things that are wrong with farm conditions, but it isn't polite to point.
Yes, so you won't.
The trouble with farms today is they're overcrowded. Asparagus only has standing room.
And mushrooms are living in cellars.
Yeah.
I thought so, yeah.
Gracie, my drummer won't be able to let his wife run his farm.
Why not?
Well, she ran away with a hired man about a week ago.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, it's even worse than that, Grace. The hired man is the only one that can run the threshing machine.
Well, what's your drummer going to do about it?
Oh, not a thing until he finishes reading Rebecca.
Oh, now, please, boys. The farmers are waiting for the finish of my speech.
So are we.
Friends, the following are a number of things that women will do for the farms. Number one, we'll put a chalk mark in every chicken coop. Number
chalk
two,
mark in every chicken coop?
so the hens can lay it on the line.
Really? Down wide of them.
Say, Gracie, why don't you have milking stools with rumble seats so that the cows can sit down, too?
Cows can sit down. Bubbles, pull up a chair. Like that one, Frank?
Dodo bird.
Dodo bird?
Extinct.
It did. Gracie, your speech.
Oh, number three, bustles for farmers' wives.
Wait a minute. What's that? Who's that?
Oh, that's my drummer who's been reading Rebecca.
Oh, and he just found out about his wife running away, huh?
Oh, no.
What's he crying about?
Oh, the book has a sad ending.
Gracie, your speech, please.
Well, number three, bustles for farmers' wives, so that they can be well dressed and have something to carry the coal in at the same time.
What's for?
2 and 2.
Oh, I always thought it was 3 and 1.
Oh, well, you see.
I'm wrong.
And in conclusion, my farmer friends, it has always been my custom to leave my audience in a good mood. So,
Gracie, what's that?
I I'm leaving in a good mood. Diddly-doo,
I say,
Well, George has been trying to convince Gracie that the public thinks her presidential campaign is silly. So we've got a microphone out in front of the studio, and we're about to interview the man in the street. Now, step back, ladies and gentlemen. Will you step back and get some room?
Hi, everybody. Oh, what's your name, mister?
Who, me?
No, you.
My name is Denny V. Rubin.
Oh, what does the V stand for?
Volter. Hot Volta or cold Volta?
Oh, please, George. Mister, who do you think will be the next president?
Why change? Isn't McKinley doing a good job? Volta probably hasn't seen today's paper, Volta.
Oh, George, give the gentleman 2 tickets to Grauman's Chinese and a box of Mars bars.
Gracie, let me ask these questions.
Next gentleman, what's your name, mister?
Harriet Brown.
I'll take care of her, Gracie.
Step away, Frank. Miss, I've been trying to prove a point. Have you heard anything about Gracie Allen's campaign for president?
Oh, yes, I'm going to vote for her.
Oh, George, give the girl 2 pounds of coffee.
Quiet. Miss Brown, do you really think that Gracie Allen has a chance of being elected?
Do I? And I bet this girl does too, don't you, miss?
Do I? Oh, I certainly do.
Well, this is fine.
George, give Gracie 2 pounds of coffee.
Quiet, Bubbles.
Say, here's a nice-looking young man here.
Oh, he's pretty hot, dude.
How do you do?
Oh, well, I didn't catch your name, but my name is Gracie Allen.
Say, aren't you the girl?
Oh, I certainly am. You're not bad yourself.
Look, Gracie.
So where do you live?
In Pasadena, but
Oh, I'll be glad to, but I have to be home by 12 o'clock.
Gracie, let me do the talking.
Oh, it's awfully nice of you to say that, mister. George, give the gentleman 2 pounds of coffee.
Mister, are you a Republican or a Democrat?
He is. George, take back the coffee.
Gracie, we haven't got any coffee.
Say, are you nuts?
Yes, and I'm his partner, Gracie Allen.
Stop rubbing it in.
Say, Gracie, here's a little boy 6 years old who knows all about your surprise party.
You betcha, and I'm going to vote for you, Gracie.
Well, thanks, Sonny.
Hey, who's that guy over
That's
there?
George.
Oh, I know. That's your party mascot.
The party mascot is a kangaroo.
Gee whiz, he talks, too.
Oh, that's cute. George, give him 2 pounds of Ovaltine.
I'll give him a hot foot in a minute. Imagine mistaking me for a kangaroo.
Well, that's because you've got that cigar stuck in your pouch.
There must be one intelligent person in this crowd.
Coming. I say, Gracie. I couldn't get anybody to be interviewed, but I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Oh, good. What's your name?
Raymond O. Noble.
Well, what does the O stand for?
Volta.
Volta. Can you imagine what I stand for?
Yeah. Mr. Noble, where are you from?
Oh, the crowd over there. That's the spot.
Yeah. Well, now, why do you think I'll be the best president?
Well, now, that's a coincidence. You know, I asked myself the same thing the other night.
And what did you answer yourself?
Well, I really don't know. Now that I'm an American, it's very difficult for me to understand an English accent, you know.
Oh, God. Give the gentleman £2.
2 pounds of what?
2 pounds of flesh. He can use it.
You said it.
Step aside, one side there. Just step aside there. This way, sweetheart. Oh, Gracie, here's a young lady from Erie, Pennsylvania. Her name is Florence Gould. Her phone number is Federal 8388. And she's going to vote for you, aren't you, honey?
And how?
Come on, baby. I told you I was going to put you on the radio.
Frank, where are you going?
I don't have to tell you anymore, do I, brother?
Oh, go away.
Pardon me, Miss Allen. I've noticed you're interviewing a lot of people about your campaign, and I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, well, all right, but only 2 at a time.
Is your administration going to do away with the New Deal?
No, I'm going to continue the New Deal. But to make it more exciting, I'm going to have Deuces Wild.
Except with pears and flushes.
Yes.
How do you feel about the youth movement?
Oh, I just love it. Jitterbugging is my favorite stuff.
Oh, yes. Are you going to do anything with the SEC, NLRB, WPA, CCC, CIO, or AFL?
Oh, no, my good man. I haven't played with blocks since I was a baby.
Oh, Miss Allen, what do you think of the Wagner Act?
Oh, well, it's all right, but my favorite act is Olson and Johnson.
Have you anything to say about Secretary Hull's reciprocal trade agreement?
Well, no, but I'd have plenty to say about it if I knew what it was.
Look, let me handle this. Mister, would you step up to the microphone, please?
Yes, sir.
Are you in favor of the surprise party?
My wife says I'm a Republican.
Would you elect a woman to the presidency?
I'll have to ask my wife.
Well, do you think a woman president would be better than a man president?
I've never heard my wife say.
Your wife? Haven't you got a mind of your own?
Yes, sir.
Well, where is it?
Standing over there in the blue dress.
Oh.
Oh, George, I'll interview his wife.
That's a swell idea, Gracie. And say, ask her about Einthe, Unihe, and Omde Imcre, will you?
Oh, yes. Madam, I've been admiring your beautiful hands. What makes them so soft and smooth?
My husband does all the housework.
Oh.
George, give the man 2 pounds of soap chips in a dish rag.
Well. Here's a nice-looking gentleman.
No. You. Where are you from?
Well, I travel a lot, Missy. As a matter of fact, I just come from Omaha.
Oh, that's where we're holding our surprise party convention.
Oh, yes, my niece wrote me all about it.
Oh, did she?
It's going to be held May 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th.
That's right.
They're running a special Union Pacific train to take the party from Los Angeles to Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have torchlight parades, and 25,000 men are raising whiskers.
Well, your niece certainly must be a smart girl.
She is. And so are her sisters, Bessie, Hazel, and Pearl.
Yeah, Bessie, Hazel, and what? Uncle Charlie!
And now, Truman Bradley, the Heinz handyman.
Gracie wants to send you a copy of her campaign song, Vote for Gracie. Yes, you get the sheet music, complete with the verses and a big picture of Gracie right on the cover, wearing her campaign hat. Now, here's all you have to do to get the song. Just write your name and address clearly on the back of a Heinz Honey and Almond Cream carton and mail it to Gracie Ellen, Hollywood, California. It's okay to send just one Heinz carton in the 25-cent size, the 50-cent size, or the dollar size. But if you use the 10-cent size, be sure to send 2 cartons. Every time you use Heinz on your hands, notice how much softer and smoother your skin looks. Isn't it amazing the way Heinz lotion makes chapped, rough housework hands look smoother and prettier right away? Of course, it's not amazing in another way, because Heinz is really extra creamy, extra softening, and contains 2 vitamins, A and D. You expect Heinz to be good? Take good care of your hands with Heinz Honey and Almond Cream, and make good use of your Heinz carton. Mail it with your name and address to Gracie Allen, Hollywood, California, and you get in return an actual copy of her campaign song, Vote for Gracie. Remember, 1 carton in any larger size will do, but if you use the 10-cent size, then send 2 cartons. Here's the address again. Gracie Allen, Hollywood, California.
Thank you, True. And now Gracie will sing Pizzicato Polka. Sing it.
The pizzicato polka is the thrill. It stirred me once, I know it all the thrill. They played the polka for us long ago. And since that time, as you must surely know, I do adore you so. Indeed, the dear old polka that we knew affects me still in all the things I do. And so the pizzicata is a sort of obligata to the feeling that I gotta be with you. I'm absolutely certain you'll agree with me completely when I say that life is gay and more romantic day by day, because you see, the polka drew us closer at the start and helped to make it so we'd never part. My love may be staccato, but it's never moderato with the pizzicato polka in my heart. Is it legato to steal my heart-o and make me blush like a tomato? If I look blotto, what does it motto when you are so appassionato? My love is a crescendo, it will never end-o. Please pretend, oh, that you care. The pizzicato polka is a thrill. It stirred me once, I know it all the will. They played the polka for us long ago. And though it was in winter, I looked out and there was no more snow. The polka drew us closer at the start and helped to make it so we'd never part. My love may be staccato, but it's never moderato with the pizzicato polka in my heart.
Now you can have a choice of two Heinz preparations for your hands. One is the famous Heinz lotion that pours from the bottle. The other is the brand new Heinz hand cream in jars. Like the famous lotion itself, this new Heinz hand cream helps to give you nice soft hands in spite of housework. It's surprisingly inexpensive, too. Only 10 cents and 39 cents a jar.
Well, Gracie, say goodnight.
Oh, good night. Oh, and when I'm in Washington, don't forget to drop in for dinner. And if I don't serve the best 60-cent dinner in Washington, may I never see a third term.
Good night, all.
George and Gracie and all of us will be back again next Wednesday at this same time. Join us, will you? This is Truman Bradley saying good night for Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Hello, my friends, the Heinz Honey and Almond Cream program.
Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. She's the best little skipper in the land. Vote for Gracie. Vote for Gracie. Won't you please give this little girl a hand?
Starring George Burns and Heinz Honey, Gracie Allen, with Frank Parker, Ray Noble and his orchestra, and Truman Bradley speaking.
Vote for Gracie. The best little Gracie.
100 million strong, that's like the best of all.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
Hello. Oh, George, what'll it be tonight? Shall we talk about you, or shall we talk about something interesting, or shall we talk about...
Gracie, let's talk about me.
All right. Tell me about you. What do you think of the way I upset them at the Wisconsin primaries last week?
You upset the Wisconsin primary?
Yes.
What about Dewey?
Dewey? Who's Dewey?
He's a Republican.
Oh, he's the one.
Yes, he's the one. He's the one who's running against you for president.
Oh, the poor fellow. What's he going to do for a living?
Oh, he'll do all right. It happens that he carried Wisconsin.
Well, he won't carry it far. If you saw the front page of the Milwaukee Sentinel, you know it was a landslide for me.
A landslide for you?
I got 63 votes.
63 votes out of millions of voters in Wisconsin?
Oh, well, that was only in one copy of the paper. And that paper has a circulation of 187,000. 187,000 times 63.
All right, Gracie. That's bingo and never mind.
Just imagine me getting 63 votes in Wisconsin last Tuesday, and I wasn't even there.
I say.
The whole thing's silly.
Yeah.
I was at the Pantages Theater seeing Too Many Husbands.
All right, so it was silly.
Oh, it certainly is silly. There's no such a thing as too many husbands. You know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean, yes.
Now, if the Republicans and Democrats are going to keep nominating me at their primaries, there'll be nothing left for my party to do. And you know I'm a one-party girl.
Hello, Gracie.
Oh, there's my party now.
Yes.
Gracie, I brought you a little remembrance.
Oh, Ray Noble. Why, they're Easter lilies.
Yes, I want you to remember Easter.
Oh, thanks. Spring, spring, I love spring. You know what Tennyson said?
No, what did he say?
Well, I don't know. I wasn't listening, but I just love spring.
Look, what's going on here?
Spring.
Spring.
George, old boy, would you mind taking Truman and Frank out into the hall? I'd like to talk to Gracie, and it's very confidential.
It is. There are millions of people listening in.
Well, would you mind taking them out with you?
Yeah, well, come on, folks. Let's go outside.
Hello, Prez.
Hello, Pinky.
Well, hello, Frank.
Well, what does the man in the street think about tonight?
I'm not the man in the street.
Well, you will be, brother, when Gracie's elected.
First of all, Gracie is not going to be elected, and when she is, I'll be able to take care of myself.
That's right. George can always follow in his father's footsteps.
Yeah. What was his father?
A ski jumper.
He was not. He was a baseball player.
And you were his first error.
Oh, quiet. Don't worry about me. I don't need a job. I've saved my money.
Oh, you said it.
all right. Never mind. I'm not so cheap.
You said it,
Oh, stop. Well, didn't you all just have lunch at my house this afternoon?
Well, we haven't eaten out of paper plates since we ate over at Jack Penny's.
What's wrong with serving lunch on paper plates?
Well, at least you could have served it on today's paper.
Today's paper?
Yeah.
It wasn't a formal lunch, you know.
Oh.
Don't you worry about George getting a job. He had to sponsor the dinner last week.
You said it. I had him eating right out of my hand.
Oh, no plates at all, huh?
Gracie, I happen to have a set of plates, and they're beautiful.
Oh, especially when you smile. Smile for the lady. Good.
Quiet. I may have my faults, but on me they look good.
Especially the eye teeth.
Yeah, the buck tooth there, yeah.
George, you know that saying that a wise man changes his mind, but a fool never?
Yeah, I know that saying, Ray.
Well, would you change your mind and take Truman and Frank out into the hall so I can be alone with Gracie?
Oh, yeah, will you, George?
But what's going on in here tonight?
Well, you see, it's spring, and I want to ask Gracie to help me with my income tax.
Ray, anything you want to ask Gracie, you ask me.
Well, will you kiss me, George?
Will you go away? Go away. Silliest fellow I ever met in my life.
Hello? I'm Sonny, Gracie Allen speaking. What? You called up to say you're going to vote for me? Oh, thank you. Well, I certainly appreciate it. What? Well, sure, I'll be glad to send you a picture. Where shall I send it? Oh, just bring it home with me? Oh, hello, Mother.
Oh, it's your mother. Fine.
What? The census taker was there? Well, did you tell him I wanted to ask him some questions? Oh, he's on his way down, huh? You called him what? A loafer, a tramp, a hobo, a bum, a good-for-nothing, and a heel, and he liked it? Oh, he gets 4 cents a name.
If your daddy was there, he could probably retire.
What, Mother? Laura? She's sick? Oh, isn't that too bad, George? My kangaroo is sick.
Oh, yes, Laura, the party emblem.
Oh, you don't say, Mother. She has a fever of 115? Well, what are you going to do about it? Oh, I see. You're putting some potatoes in a leg of lamb in bed with her. Oh, yeah. Well, let me know when they're done.
Yeah. Ought to be delicious.
Well, I'll be home right after the broadcast. But don't let that lamb burn. Keep turning Laura over. Yeah, goodbye.
Gracie, your family was nutty enough before you got that kangaroo.
Well, it's really serious, George. Mother said they had 8 doctors there today, and they all said the same thing.
What did they say?
$2 in advance.
Yes, that stuff is contagious.
Oh, well, fever is nothing, Gracie. Why, once I had a fever of 120.
Fever of 120? How did you live?
I got an annuity.
Gracie, how did Laura, your kangaroo, get sick?
Well, she caught a cold. She slept all night with her pouch open.
She did, oh, well, that's all I want.
Here's a grand way to keep your hands feeling comfortable when you're spring cleaning. Smooth Heinz Honey and Almond Cream all over your hands often during the day. It takes just a moment, and it's certainly worth it. For Heinz is extra creamy, extra softening to dry, chapped hands. And it contains 2 vitamins, too, A and D. Use Heinz before each cleaning job. It helps guard your skin against the drying effects of dust, harsh cleansers, and hot water. Then after each job, get out your bottle of Heinz again. Smooth this creamy emulsion over your fingers, especially around the cuticle, over the backs of your hands, on your dry, hard palms, up the wrists and arms. Heinz quickly coaxes back that softer look and feel. You'll find that even one application of Heinz helps your tender, work-abused hands look much nicer. So get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream tonight. The 10 or 25-cent size is handy to carry in your apron pocket as you work. The 50-cent or the big dollar size Heinz is economical for the whole family to use. Ask at the nearest toilet goods counter for Heinz, spelled Hinds. Now, Frank Parker.
Thanks, Drew. The scene is from the musical play The Girl from Utah. The time is the year 1914. The song is They Didn't Believe Me, composed of Jerome Kern, the boy me, and the girl you.
And when I told them how beautiful you are, they didn't believe me. They didn't believe me. Your lips, your eyes, your teeth, your hair are in a class beyond compare. You're the loveliest girl that one could see. And when I tell them, and I'm certainly going to tell them, that I'm the man whose wife one day you'll be, they'll never believe me. They'll never believe me. That from this great wide world you've chosen me. Last night I was dreaming of you, love was dreaming. I dreamed that we promised we never would part. And when I tell them, and I'm certainly going to tell them, that I'm the man whose wife one day will be, they'll never believe me. They'll never believe me. That from this great wide world you chosen me.
Frank, I never get tired of listening to your singing. You know, every week you seem to get better.
George, you make me feel like a dog. You're always saying nice things about me, and here you are without a voice, without a future, very little personality, or hardly anything else.
Oh, thanks. Kid.
But really, I'm serious, George, and I'd like to say something nice about you.
Well, why don't you?
Well, I will as soon as I can think of something.
I'll remember that when your options due.
Oh, don't pay any attention to Frank, George. He only repeats what everybody else says.
Well, now I feel better.
Oh, dear, where's Bubbles? There's so much campaign mail to answer. I've been getting letters from colleges, mayors, governors, politicians, executives, farmers, doctors.
How about pajamas?
Third floor, please. Lawyers.
Quiet.
And not only do I get letters, today I got an oil painting. It was a picture of Sally Rand.
Must be valuable.
Valuable. It was a whistler.
A whistler?
Yeah, every time my daddy looks at it, he goes...
You whistle with your mouth closed like that. Well, we've covered everything except Sally Rand.
Come in. I say, come along in.
Come in. Wait. There's nobody knocking.
Oh, yes, there is. I'll answer it. Hello. Who? Oh, just a minute. I'll tell him. George, somebody wants you, Frank, and Truman out in the hall.
Who wants us out in the hall?
I do. I'd like to talk to Gracie.
Right after the broadcast, you'll have all the time in the world.
My, Bubbles, you got on a new dress.
Yes, it came from Saks.
Fifth Avenue Saks?
No, potato sacks.
Certainly looks sexy,
Yeah, I
Bubbles.
know. Say, Gracie, what are we going to do with all these letters from important people?
Well, just write and invite them to my surprise party convention in Omaha in May and tell them they can all be my guests.
Well, that's nice.
At popular prices.
Well, and they'll surely come.
And sign it, what's that name again? Oh, yes, Gracie Allen.
Oh, yes, that's the name.
Hey, you, stop thief. Leave those cars alone. Those cars belong to George, Frank, and Truman.
What's going on there, Ray?
Oh, nothing. Somebody's trying to steal your cars.
We haven't got any cars.
Really? Well, you three fellows can borrow mine if you want to go someplace.
So you can be alone with Gracie.
George, you're psychic.
Cheerio.
Oh, cheerio.
Cheerio. Come back here, Gracie.
Oh, well, I'll see you later, Ray, and give me back my chewing gum.
Huh?
And Gracie, here's some more letters. The Silver Lake Young Democrats, the New York State Young Republican Club.
Did we get a letter from Clark Gable?
Clark Gable? What's he got to do with your running?
Well, who do you think I'm running after?
He happens to have a wife.
Oh, she can be repealed.
You know, Gracie, I do wish you'd get elected. Then I'd have nothing to do.
Nothing to do, but then you'd really have your hands full.
Full of what?
Shoelaces, newspapers, pencils, whatever you're selling, brother.
Yeah.
Say, George, I just made a bet for us. I bet Ray Noble $6 against $6 bottles of Heinz Honey and Almond Cream that he can't get Frank, you, and me out in the hall.
Well, that's one bet he'll lose.
Ray, you lost.
All right, well, I know the will, sir. I'll pay off. My secretary will give you the money. She's in my office.
Where's your office?
Out in the hall.
Will you get out of here? Come in.
Good evening. I'm the census taker.
Oh, yes, my mother phoned me about you. Come in and pull up a chair.
I can only sit down a second.
Oh, well, then pull up a splinter.
My name is George Burns.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Burns? This is indeed a pleasure. Tell me, do you smoke?
Why, yes.
Soothing, isn't it?
Huh?
Mister, you say you're a census enumerator? Have you got a card to identify yourself?
Well, he doesn't need one. He knows who he is.
Gracie, why did your mother send him over here?
Well, I'm being elected president, and it's very important that I find out how many people over 21 are old enough to vote.
Well, I wouldn't be without a piece of information like that.
You know, Miss Allen, all the information I get is confidential. In fact, it's so confidential that half of it goes in one ear and comes out the other.
Oh, isn't that kind of drafty?
Yes, he'll probably catch cold sleeping with an open mind.
Now, you know, what I'm asking for isn't very confidential. All I want to know is what goes on with our neighbors after they pull down the shade.
That's all you want to know?
That's all.
Gracie, these census takers have pledged to secrecy. They can't tell anybody anything.
That's right. So whatever I tell you is in strictest confidence.
What?
Of course, I'm not the one to talk, but the last 3 days I gathered enough dirt to raise my own vegetables.
Oh! Isn't that exciting? Now, look, Mrs. Jones across the street, is she a Republican, or is that her natural hair?
Oh, you don't need to worry about her. She was 38 last October, and she looks it.
38. That's her waistline. Her hips are 10 years older.
Well, her husband certainly ought to know how old she is.
Oh, her husband told you.
No, I found out from the maid.
Oh, the husband told her.
Mm-hmm.
Mister, I thought all your information was confidential.
It is, so don't breathe it to a soul.
Look, you're here to take Gracie's census and not to gossip about her neighbors.
Oh, yes, I'd better get to work. Now, Miss Allen, what is your name?
Gracie.
What's your surname?
Sir Gracie.
I mean your full name.
Oh, Gracie M.M.M. Allen.
What does the MMM stand for?
M.M.M. Emily. I was named after my aunt and she stutters.
Oh, yeah, that's the one who looks like last year's calendar.
Yes,
the pretty one. The one without the face. Yes.
Do you live in Hollywood?
She goes out with George Burns. Do you call that living?
Oh, quiet. Toto.
I live next door to Nelson Eddy.
Oh, yes, I just took his census.
Oh, tell me, are they really happy? Or is that the vacuum cleaner I hear humming all day?
Well, did you know that Nelson Eddy sings in the bathtub?
How did that leak out?
No plug in the tub.
Say, tell me something. Does Nelson Eddy have a shower besides a tub?
Yes.
Does he have a rubber curtain?
Yes.
Does he have hot and cold water?
Mm-hmm.
See, George, what's he got that I haven't got?
Shortening bread.
Miss Allen, are your parents natural-born American?
Well, my mother was natural born. The stork brought her, but my father had a hitchhike.
Regarding income, what do you get a week?
Well, it all depends. Now, 1 week I get a cold, 1 week a headache.
No, I mean, what do you earn?
Oh, George's salary.
What are you laughing at?
I don't get it.
You said it. And here's Ray Noble's arrangement of Gracie's campaign song. Dan Ray. How is it that you're always able to make such swell arrangements?
Well, George, if you'll step out into the hall, my section...
Never mind the hall. Just tell me right here.
Well, it's very simple, old boy. You see, whenever I see spots in front of my eyes, I just write them down and the boys play them.
These spots that you see, are they dots?
No, they're mine.
Well, dot.
You know, my brother used to see spots in front of his eyes, but he cured himself by drinking.
By drinking?
Yeah, now pink elephants hide the spots.
Now, if we can just get something for the elephant to hide behind.
If you're looking at me, Mr. Burns, I'm not available.
I never mentioned you. That's for you, probably. You might as well answer.
Hello? I'm Penny speaking. Yes? Yes. Oh, how old is the little girl? Oh, really? Well, around that age, they can eat solid food. Oh, she does. Oh, well, she'll get over that. You have to expect things like that from little girls at that age. Oh, thank you. Goodbye.
Who's that?
Judge Jester.
I thought your kangaroo's cold was getting worse, I hope.
Say, Gracie, I read a great remedy for colds that might help Laura.
Oh, good.
Yes, sir. You take an old stocking, rub it with mercurochrome, and tie it around your throat.
Oh, of course, you take your foot out of the stocking first.
Naturally.
And then you rub your forehead with a gold wedding ring.
Where did you read that, Truman?
At lunch today on one of your dinner plates.
Look, let's settle this once and for all. If you fellas didn't like my food, why did you come to my house for lunch?
Well, where else can you get a 35-cent lunch for 40 cents?
All I know is that half of my personal silverware is missing.
You mean that stuff marked Beverly Wilshire Hotel?
Yeah, my personal stuff.
Well, it's the first time I ever saw a sandwich made out of a slice of ham between two pieces of confetti.
It's daintier that way and quiet.
Well, I really enjoyed your luncheon, George. It wasn't just the food, it was also the hospitality.
Thanks, Drew.
Although the hospitality could have had a little bit more meat on it.
What?
Well, you know, at most luncheons, there's a very little conversation. All you hear is pass this, pass that, pass this. But at your luncheon, it was really marvelous because there was nothing to pass.
I don't know what you're complaining about, but then it didn't cost you anything. The food was on the cup.
Well, it wouldn't have been if you'd served napkins.
Oh, quiet. I've had enough of this. It's going to be a cold, cold day before
George, instead of serving meals for a living, you can always be a singing announcer, you know. Why, with your voice, you can open up a new field.
And plant corn.
Oh. Singing commercials. Well, you think you're kidding. It's not a bad idea.
No. What song would you use, George, to sell Heinz Honey and Almond Cream? Huh?
Oh, there are thousands of songs that I can sing.
Yeah, there's only one that you know, ain't Mr. Haven.
Yeah? Well, what about this one?
If your hands are rough and red and you're all by yourself, get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. You'll find it on the shelf. A color could count as what does it amount to? $10, $20, $15 size, and it'll be popular with all the guys who ain't misbehaving all by myself. Oh, ain't misbehaving. I'm happy.
Hello.
Quiet.
How do you like that? It was the wrong number.
Yeah, any number you sing is the wrong number.
Oh, yeah?
Say, Frank, I think you've gone a little too far. Kidding is kidding, and George, I wouldn't stand for any more. Of course, there's no harm in what he says to the elevator boy, but when he stands right here in front of me...
Elevator boy?
Yes. When he stands...
What'd he say?
Well, yes, I couldn't repeat it.
I'm going out to find out. I'll take that.
Gracie, I didn't say anything to the elevator boy.
Oh, well, then you better go out and tell George. It was Truman.
Oh, I will.
Gracie, I didn't say anything to the elevator boy.
Oh, well, then you better go out and apologize to Frank.
I certainly will.
You know, Gracie, this is the first time you and I have ever been alone.
Well, would you rather be alone with me or alone with Maine and Vermont?
Well, I feel a little strange with them. I don't know them as well as I know you.
People are funnier than anybody else.
Mm-hmm. I say, Gracie, I just love your campaign.
Oh, thanks. I got it at Magnum. It's a copy of a 3750 model.
Mm-hmm. I notice it's made of odds and ends.
Yes, isn't it odd where it ends?
Rather.
Say, Ray, when I have my convention in Omaha next month, you'll make a wonderful delegate.
Oh, I won't always be delegate. I'm going to drink a lot of malted milk and I'll be big and strong.
Well, would you like a malted milk now?
With an egg?
No, I'd rather have it with you.
Well, I say, Gracie, when you're in the White House, will you forget all about me?
Well, I will if you forget about me.
Well, let's just forget about each other then.
Oh, well, let's write it down and then we'll remember it.
Yes, we might forget it.
My daddy always ties a string on his finger
Why?
to keep it from falling off.
Hey, Gracie, would you like to sit on my lap?
No, I'd rather sit on your lap.
All right, then you sit on my lap.
Oh, now you see? Isn't it better my
Gracie, put your arms around me.
way? Like this?
Mm-hmm. Do you mind if I whisper something in your ear?
Nah. What is it?
You're stepping on my foot.
Do you mind if I whisper something in your ear?
No, what is it?
Pardon me.
Hey, what's going on in here?
Oh, Mr. Hazen, all by myself.
Come on, everybody. Get your copy of Gracie's campaign song and start singing. We've got to get Gracie in the White House, you know, even if we have to paint the one she's in. Gracie is so proud of her song, Vote for Gracie, she wants you to have a copy. Now, all you have to do to get it is send your name and address to her on the back of a Heinz Honey and Almond Cream carton. Any size carton will do. But if you use the 10-cent size, be sure to send 2 cartons. Address your envelope to Gracie Allen, Hollywood, California. And in a few days, you get a copy of this crazy campaign song complete with words and music and a big picture of Gracie on the cover. Now, act quickly, because this offer is good for a limited time only. In the meantime, don't forget to treat your hands to Heinz. The minute you take your hands out of dishwater, comfort the chapped, red, puffy skin with Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. Every fine drop of this creamy, fragrant lotion helps make your hands smoother and nicer. Heinz is extra creamy, extra softening, and contains 2 vitamins. You can get Heinz Honey and Almond Cream at any toilet goods counter, and be sure to take the carton. Write your name and address on it, and mail it to Gracie Allen, Hollywood, California, for your copy of Gracie's song, Vote for Gracie.
Thanks, Tom. Now Gracie will sing Frank Lesser and Jimmy McHugh's new song from Buck Benny Rides Again, My, My.
My talk was pitchy and clever. My line was sharp as a tack. But ever since I met you, everything's gone black. I want to shout a poem about how I dream of that gleam in your eyes. I want to shout, but all that comes out is my. I want to sing the flowers in spring, but oh dear, when you're near, I just die. I want to sing and can't sing a thing, but my. Now I should say, oh how lovely, and I should say, ah how sweet. I should have Shakespeare at the tip of my tongue, but every time we meet, I look at you, and what do? I get weak, I can't speak, I just sigh. And though I try, the best I can try is my. Tell me why my voice won't obey, and help me to say how I go when you throw me in high. I want to cheer, but all you can hear is my. I have a tongue that never has some pretty words about birds in the sky. When you're around, the best I have found is my. Now, I should say how intriguing, and I should say how elite. I should have Webster in the palm of my hand, but every time we meet, dead pigeon. I look at you, and what do? I get weak, I can't speak, I just sigh. And though I try, the best I can try is my.
The minute you see a jar of the new Heinz hand cream, I'll bet you'll want to try it. Why, it looks for all the world like a fine face cream, and as a matter of fact, this Heinz hand cream is swell both for hands and face. It's made by the makers of Heinz Honey and Almond Cream, and like the famous lotion itself, Heinz new hand cream is quick softening and fragrant. Try it, will you?
Well, Gracie, say good night.
Well, good night. And when I'm in Washington, don't forget to drop in and see me at the White House. I don't know the address, but I'll leave a congressman burning in the window.
Good night, all.
Next Wednesday at the same time, we'll all be back again. Join us, will you? This is Truman Bradley saying good night for Heinz Honey and Almond Cream. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.